So like when I went, I was obviously wanting to be a SEAL, and I'm thinking in my head that Navy boot camp is going to be like Marine boot camp. Like I didn't have any distinction between, different branches. I was like, oh, it's all going to be the same. And I remember just being a couple weeks in the Navy boot camp, and I'm like, dude, I'm getting out of shape. Like you're just a block. You're like not doing anything. So I would purposefully because we had to get inspected at night, and I would purposefully hide stuff or move somebody else's stuff so we would just get beat. Because I was like, this is the only way that I'm going to be in shape. And
That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm like,
This episode is brought to you by the one and only Firecracker Farms. If you guys have been following me, you know from day one I've been a huge advocate of this product, not only because of its great flavor and the spice it adds to my food and for the health benefits, but because Alex, the owner, is just an incredible human being. And when I support a product, not only do I look at the product itself, I look at the person behind the product. Alex is a patriot. He supports veteran-owned organizations such as Op 300 and my nonprofit, the Pipe Hitter Foundation. So if you guys are looking for a great product, definitely go hit the link below on the sponsor link and go try out some. And if you like it, please like, tag, and do a post for them. All right. I appreciate your guys' support. Thank you, and God bless.
welcome back to Shoot Me Straight with Eddie and Dave. Today we have Ryan Kuperus on today. And we met at SHOT Show this year up there at the suite with Skinta and the rest of the gang, which that was a good time.
It was.
But yeah, it was good. And I'm glad you reached out, wanted to come on. We looked into, the is it a nonprofit?
Yes.
That you're doing? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, the nonprofit that you got going on, which we'll get into that and talk about that. But I definitely we just started off reminiscing a little bit and educating Dave over here on the difference between grunts and special operations and how grunts are treated. We'll get more into that for sure. But I definitely want to start off with you, man, and sort of like your background a little bit, like where you grew up, and we'll just go from there.
Yeah. So everybody calls me Coupe. No one can pronounce Kuperus, right? It's like a thing my whole life. I've heard every bastardization of the name going, almost like put Coupe on my name tapes, just like here, we can just do this. And
Trooper.
Yeah, nobody's got to try to booger that up. But so I grew up in upstate New York, Rochester area. Grew up on a dairy farm up there. So grew up playing football, basketball, lacrosse, milking cows, throwing hay bales.
Nice.
Working. Yeah.
Work. Yeah. So
Brothers, sisters?
I got 2 younger brothers and a younger sister.
Okay.
One's my younger brother, he was a submariner in the Navy. So that's always makes, he thinks
That's
I went
a
on
special
a sub.
breed.
Yeah, that's
dude.
that's what I'm saying. Like I went on a sub before he deployed, and he was the cook. So he's like, I got this little tunnel in his freezer. He's like, I know everything is in this thing. I'm like, you're crazy. He's like, oh, I think you're crazy for jumping out of planes. I'm like, no, you're crazy. No submariner. Like they all have these stories of like almost going down to the bottom of the ocean, right? Like there's fires, right? There's water, fires, and electricity. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No go.
I'm the same way. I'm like, dude, good on you guys. I'm glad that somebody wants to do that job, but there's no way. I barely make it on a ship. And
yeah.
Like, there's no way I want to be in a submarine.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, growing up, like I said, a lot of hard work, a lot of cows milked, a lot of hay bales thrown.
Did you know you wanted to go into the military from an early age?
I think when I was younger, I wanted to be a farmer. I always wanted to probably join the Army. My grandfather was in the Army. He came over from Holland, him and his brothers, and they're like, hey, welcome to your new country. One of you needs to fight in Korea. So he was like, yeah, I'll go do that. Went to boot camp, didn't know English. Said he learned real quick and went and got 2 Bronze Stars in Korea as an artilleryman.
Wow.
And nobody in the family knew that till he passed away, and I read his DD-214, and I'm like, do you understand what?
Yeah, especially back then.
Yeah,
getting awarded that back then.
Yeah, and I mean he was a stubborn old Dutchman, but he was one of those guys that had too much pride. Like he flew home from Korea to Dover in Jersey, and then he walked home to Sussex, which is like a really long walk. So walk and hitchhike home from there because he had too much pride to ask someone to come pick him up. So. And he never really talked about it that much, like to my dad or my aunts and uncles and all that. And I always knew that he was in the Army. My other grandfather was in the Coast Guard, so military was always something that was an option that I would like to do. I mean, you grew up watching all the military movies that young men watch back in the
we lived
90s.
We lived in the perfect era for those movies.
We did, and it kind of like, I think that kind of screwed our generation over a little bit, right? Because take Saving Private Ryan, Platoon, like all these movies, right? And you go to
Platoon is definitely my favorite,
right? And then you go to combat, and you're like, well, that wasn't like the wasn't like Saving Private Ryan like I thought it was going to be. I don't know. I think I had this false
glad
sense.
It wasn't.
Yeah, thank God. Right,
dude.
Right. There's guys who are just like, I didn't feel like I did enough. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, yeah, you did. So it was always a thing. And for me, my dad asked me my junior year of high school, like, hey, do you want to go into business with me and farm? And at the time, we were milking probably 100 and somewhere between, we always milk somewhere between 75 and 120 cows. And we had what's called a stanchion barn. So you had to move the machines down like by hand. Not at a parlor where like the cows come in and you just hook them up. And I was like, no, I don't want to go into business with you. If we did that, we had to spend a lot of money to put in a parlor and make the operation something that I would want it to be, which would be a big farm. And that would cost a lot of money. We actually found out a couple of years ago that our farm, there was something with the water that made our cows not give milk. The guy who owns the farm now put in this huge reverse osmosis water thing, so his cows are doing really well. Because we had moved up from New Jersey when I was a kid. When I was 5, that's where I was born.
We're at in Jersey.
Sussex.
Okay.
So
born in Patterson.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got a family that lives in Wayne and Lincoln Park, and my cousin, I think he's a cop in Patterson now. Patterson's rough.
Oh yeah,
that's rough.
It's a rough,
that's
rough place. Yeah.
And when we moved up to New York, all my dad's cows died within a year. And my dad has like trophies. He started his own farm when he was 17. He's got trophies. Like, was the best, most well-known farmer in northern New Jersey. And we went to New York. Cows died. Just rough go. So I was like, no, I don't want to be a farmer. He's like, what are you going to do? I'm like, probably join the military, because school wasn't really my thing. I got good enough grades to play sports, and that was it.
This was pre 9/11.
Pre 9/11, yeah. I graduated in 2000 and went in the Marine Corps by August of that year.
Yeah, so we're in the same era.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. So for me, I knew if I went to, had some coaches talk to me for lacrosse, and I could have played football or lacrosse in college, but I just knew if I went to college, I'd screw around and flunk out. So
yeah, you were mature enough to know, like, I'm probably not going to do well if I go there.
100%. And then me and my buddy talked to an Army recruiter. He's kind of pushy. So like, yeah, Army Rangers, that'd be cool. The recruiter was real pushy, and he's like, I can bring you to MEPS tomorrow. Like, must have been like a new guy, I'm like, dude, get out of here, man.
Yeah.
And we saw the Marine recruiters at school a couple days later, and we're like, those uniforms are way more
heck yeah.
BA
That's
anyways,
one of the
right?
things the Marines have, man. Those the panty droppers, dude.
Yeah.
They have the best uniforms out of any branch.
Absolutely. And we don't got all those buttons you guys got.
That's right. Yeah, that's 13 buttons to take a piss.
Yeah, that's terrible. You got to go shed a tear,
Yeah, especially when you're,
But yeah, so the Marine recruiters were super cool, and that was that. Signed up.
Yeah, would you, when you signed up, did they give you like an option, like, hey, what do you want to do, or is it?
Me and my buddy, so me and my best friend, we did the buddy system, and then another friend of ours joined too, and we were like, we want to go kill people, which in hindsight, like super immature, like, mindset, but we're kids.
Yep.
Right? And like, you watch all the movies, like, dude, Marines are like, first fight, they're freaking most badass, so let's join the infantry and let's go slay bodies. So
Perfect. Go check the watch bill.
Absolutely,
You're on fire watch.
right. When you get to the grunts, you're like, what was I thinking? Yeah. So 17-year-old, me, like off the boot camp, and that was that.
You go to Paris, you said?
Yeah, Paris Island.
Nice. Where the real Marines are made.
It's where the real, none of that Hollywood stuff. Look, man, like the guys out in San Diego, they get to go to a baseball game.
That's true.
You know?
We'd see them all the time when I lived out there. Yeah, marching down to the stadium.
Yeah, and it would be terrible, honestly, to see flights flying out and you're just getting thrashed by a drill instructor. Like that's just not a way I would want to spend boot camp. At least Paris Island is this little. You're in your own little hellish nightmare.
There's no
for
hope.
3 months, right?
It's
No,
like
there's
you're
no hope.
here, and that's it.
It's like get off. The only way to off the island is to graduate. Because otherwise you'll be here forever. Which, if you get hurt or something, you are there forever.
Yeah.
So, two chicks that I went to high school with joined the Marines. 2 Puerto Rican gals, and they actually got off the island as recruits and hitchhiked to Florida. Because they're like, we don't want to do this because we don't like being told what to do. They got caught and brought back.
Oh,
So here's my question with that, because dude, when I was locked up at the end, and there was a Marine in there who had done the same thing, boot camp. He escaped, but then they got him. He was in the brig, and they had him in there for a long time because he was fighting it, and he was like, I don't officially belong to the until, and they're like.
You do.
You do.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be in the brig, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was always confused by that. I'm like, can they legally, like, hey, you signed it before you went to graduate, but before you graduate boot camp, are you really, truly in or not? And that's where the legal thing I didn't get.
I mean, you have to be, because people who get like hurt at boot camp, they get like 100% VA disability.
Okay, so then,
So I mean, you sign the dotted line. You're subject to the UCMJ, as archaic as it is.
Yeah.
But those 2 chicks didn't go to the brig. Oh, they stole a drill instructor's car. That's what happened.
Oh,
and
dang.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. So that's just one of those. It must be like a legend for the
That
female
has to be,
recruits, right? Like they got off the island. How'd they do it?
And it's like the DI's car.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, at least you go down as a
pretty
legend.
gangster.
It is
Yeah.
gangster. Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Did you get stationed at Lejeune after?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I did my whole career at Camp Lejeune like a scumbag.
Oh,
So
nice. Yes.
did you know was recons even a thing then? Because that's more recent.
No,
No,
Recon was
Raider.
a thing then. Yeah.
It was,
It was Raiders.
Raiders.
yeah, Raiders. Yeah.
Okay.
So, as we were saying earlier, right, the grunts is this own little slice of misery.
Where which grunt unit were you
2-6.
2-6. Where was
Golf
that on
company.
that Lejeune base?
L Street.
Okay.
Go around the circle if you're coming in off the.
The main strip.
Yep. Go around the circle, out to the left, behind. It's called Heroes now. That E Club.
Yes.
That's there.
Okay. So
Back-
I was
back
on
there.
the other side of the circle.
Okay.
With 1-8 down. You know
Yep.
where the base theater and the
Yep.
pool right
Yeah.
there. That's
Yep.
where I was. Yeah.
Nice. It was a little nicer down in that area, I feel like. But I mean, there's
It's the same.
nowhere nice.
Yeah.
It's the same.
It's
So were y'all there at the same time?
yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds yeah.
Yeah. Actually, your roommate when you're in the grunts, Steve.
Wick,
Yeah.
my man.
Him and my wife went to hair school together.
Bettina. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Steve and my wife, and they all did hair at the same salon for a while before they'd start their own business. So
Okay. That's awesome.
yeah,
That's small world.
Yeah, small world. But yes, Recon. I knew about Recon when I was in the grunts, but I didn't know about it till we started work up for my first deployment because we were the security element for the Force Recon platoon, and then I was like, it was like eye opening because I did a shooting package as a security element guy, and I was like back then what they called the trailer. So we went into the house with the Force guys and did whatever they needed us to do, hold security, SSE, we're the gophers. But I saw those guys, right, big yoked Force Recon dudes, flight suits, M4s. I got a frickin' M16A2 with a mag light hose clamp to the
Yes.
bottom of it. And I thought I was high speed, you know. We got 2 sappies, whereas in the grunt, or rest of the grunts only had 1 back then.
Those are the plates.
Yeah, the sappy plates, the bulletproof plates, and you know, those dudes had the run of whatever. You know, like I would sit in briefs, and you know, a colonel, a full bird MUCOs giving, you know, their team leaders, you know, respect, talking to them like they're human beings and stuff like that. And I'm like, dude, I got to get out of the
Yes.
grunts, man. Like, stat. Like, I need to get out of here. And those guys were always super professional with me. I was like the first time probably I was talked to like a human being in the Marine Corps was by those guys.
Yeah.
You know, and they're like, oh, you don't got to call me by my rank. You can just call me by my first name. I'm like, oh, hell no.
What?
They're
Yeah.
like, I'm like, nope, not doing it. Like,
It's little things
Yeah.
like that, man, that's what drives guys to want to go over there, right? Because
Yeah.
you see, like, you notice the professionalism, but it's almost the human aspect where it's like, okay, these guys are getting treated like actual human beings
Right.
and talking to each other normally, where in the grunts, it's
Yeah.
none of that. You know, you're getting called by your rank. You can't talk to anybody else that's not your rank.
right.
And
You got to stand at parade rest if they're,
Yeah.
you know, ranks above you. Even if they're sometimes the same rank, you got
Yep.
to stand at parade rest for them because they're a senior lance corporal, whatever that is.
which is
you
the
know?
most dangerous thing in the grunt unit, which is a senior lance corporal who thinks he has some kind of authority.
Yeah, I learned about. I literally learned about that the day I got to the fleet because I was a lance corporal when I got to the fleet, and I got a lot of thrashing. So I was like, yeah, I don't play the senior lance corporal game. I'll brawl you.
Yeah.
Like, I'll fight you right now. So that got me a lot of thrashings. But like the force guys, they could be like, hey, go unload this whole pallet of ammo, and I'd happily go do
Heck
it.
yeah.
But if my squad leader told me to do it, I'd be complaining the whole time about
Well, it's because
it.
you don't respect your squad. It's like it's a respect thing
Right.
too.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So that's what opened my eyes to recon. And then our deployment was February of 2002. So like right after 9/11,
What ship are you on?
the WASP.
Wasp.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was a Mew.
Yeah. Which was terrible. I did 2 Mews in my career.
Same.
and both
I did
of them,
2.
Yeah, were terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, the second one wasn't as bad, but the first one was, you know,
I had PTSD from my first. Like that's the only deployment I've ever come back where I legitimately was like something was wrong with me. Like because I was so ticked at just we were on the Nashville.
yeah,
And that ship was supposed to be decommissioned. I don't know how many times.
little deck.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
dude, the bathrooms were overflowing, like constantly, like blowing up. So, like, just to give you a glimpse into what everyday life on that ship, they had 2x4s in the bathroom that you would have to walk on to get to the sink or walk on. And then it was just shit and piss sloshing back and forth as the ship rocks. And if you think that's bad, well, not only that, so your feet are getting drenched with shit and piss, and then you're coming back down to the berthing. And because I was a new guy, new doc, my rack was at the bottom. So everyone would have to step on my rack with their shit and piss shoes on my pillow to get up. And there's no complaining about it. You just take it, dude. And if you do complain about it, guess what? You're going to have about 20 guys stomping your rack. Like, there you go.
Or you're just going to get thrashed.
Yeah.
Probably in the shit water, too, by the way. Yeah.
Yes. So I remember coming off that deployment, I was like, dude, I don't want to be around anybody. I don't just get away from me.
Please, please, let me go. How long of a leave block can I take? Can I do both leave blocks, please? Yeah. Thankfully, so the rest of the Gulf Company was on the Trenton, which was the little deck. We were on the WASP because we were the security element for the Force Recon guys. So we had our own berthing with the sniper platoon, which was awesome. And like, because we've been on the Trenton, because we've done stuff with AAVs and all that, which, you know, that's a whole, like, I'm just happy I was not a track company because those things are terrible. And I was so happy not to be on the little deck because
There's nothing.
They're like the gym, there's gym hours. Even on big ships, there's like gym hours for certain, the Marines, the Navy, all that. But on the little deck, that's even smaller. The flight deck's tiny, so it's
the gym sucks.
miserable.
We did have Fight Club. That was the one thing we fought each other in the well deck at night, and that was how people released steam.
Yeah.
It was like, let's go.
Yeah.
And then you show up to. It was funny because it was like not talked about. You know, you get down there and it'd be like 50 Marines down there, and you just put on some gloves and go at it with somebody else. And the next day you'd be in line at the chow. Guys would have like black eyes. It was like Fight Club. Everybody's just like, see you tonight. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. You can definitely, you know, if you got scores to settle, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
You know, like that's the good thing about the grunts, especially during that time frame, because they were just bringing the martial arts program online.
McMap.
Yeah. So I had a first sergeant who was in the very first McMap course. First Sergeant Johnson. Well, he's retired as Sergeant Major, but all we did as a company, like multiple times a week, was fight. And
Is it like combatives?
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu combatives?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a mix. It's like I don't know, tactical jiu-jitsu, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess the difference would be like weapon, like getting to your weapon and stuff like that.
It was more like, I mean, unfortunately, even back then, there's a lot of dudes who just never been in a fight growing up. So like teaching you to fight.
Yeah.
And then, you know, like back then there was like hip tosses and
Judo.
shoulder throws and all this other stuff. I don't know that you're ever going to, I never shoulder through a enemy combatant, but I knew how to do it.
Yeah.
But just a good way to release steam and establish the pecking order too. So if you were a good fighter, you know, you could be kind of crappy at a bunch of other things, but like if you were a good brawler, then people weren't going to mess with you.
Yeah.
Get some respect.
They knew.
Yeah. So,
yes.
ship life's just, it's horrific. Like my squad leader mouthed off to our platoon sergeant one time, and then we were down in the engine room cleaning it for half a day, which had never been cleaned. And it was like 120 degrees down there with like one vent with a, you know, AC unit that you stand there. That's the only like cool air in the whole place. And we're down there cleaning it. Everybody, squad leader, the whole kit and caboodle, down there for all that morning or afternoon, whatever it was. And like we got done, and he's like, you know, are you done?
Yeah. And mouth off again.
Yeah, staff sergeant. Like, yeah, okay.
Did you have to do what was it that like when it's your first time on a ship?
Oh, ship taxes. Like
yeah, what was that called? We worked in a galley.
I didn't have to do that. I did JOD, the Jack of Dust, like the people who bring all the stores up for the day.
Okay.
And that I guess you could say hooked up, because I had smarted off to my squad leader about something. He's like, good, your time for ship taxes. You know, there you go. I'm like, oh, damn, I'm going to get stuck in the galley, man. That's rough.
So
That's not where you want to be.
So, yeah, you get, when the Marines come on board, obviously the Navy still functions as normal, right? So they have all their tasks to keep the ship running, but the Marines get tasked out with like, hey, you need to have guys come help out with this, and there's usually these shit jobs to go do. And one of them is it's galley duty, but it's not even, you're not really working in the galley. You are pretty much disposing of all the waste.
Oh, yeah. You could be in
there's a name for it.
You could be in the pot shack cleaning the dishes, or like the big dishes they cook with, or where everyone just chucks their trays at you.
Yeah.
And that's probably worse than the galley, honestly.
Yeah.
Because people are just throwing
It's the lowest
their trays
form
at
of
you.
life. Like, throw this away. Yeah.
Like, here you go. Chuck it in there. You know, you could be making omelets for people, which, like, those are the dudes you actually don't want to make mad. Is the guys that
guys in control of your food.
Yeah, I learned that the first deployment, because the second deployment I always give them like team poker chips, and like, hey, hook me up with 10 eggs. They're like, all right, no problem. So, first deployment. So I did JOD. So I learned how to break into all the freezers and the reefers on the ship, because we were down there all the time getting out whatever we needed for the day. So I knew where all the ice cream was. I knew where all the yogurt was. So I'd go back to the berthing at night with a bowl of ice cream. My platoon sergeant would be like, do you think you can bring me some cookies, or you can bring me some ice cream? I'm like, yeah, I'll try to work on that. But he wasn't getting anything. He was a terrible platoon sergeant. He was terrible. So he wasn't getting anything. And he was a little tubby too, so he didn't need that anyway.
Yeah. Fat body.
He was. That guy would be on the dang what the heck's that little freaking,
the elliptical?
Yeah, he'd be on the elliptical for
Fagatron.
hours. Yeah, 100%. I'm like, dude, just get on the treadmill.
Yeah.
Or go run sprints on the ramp or something. Like, you're gonna, burn more calories there and get in better shape. But
do you remember back then too, like, because my son's in the Marines now, and I asked him, I'm like, dude, so when somebody's a fat body or like overweight, they used to make you wore a white T-shirt and had a mark. They X'd it so that you had to wear that everywhere on base or wherever, because then if you went to the chow hall, they'd be like, you're not getting.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to get X, Y, and Z. You only can get like lettuce and a piece of meat or whatever. And
in boot camp they have the white stripes on their shirts, and those dudes weren't getting food.
Yeah.
Right? And I came out of boot camp. I went in weighing 225. I came out weighing 205. I looked like a stinking Holocaust victim because I was a squad leader. So they'd be like, as soon as I sit down, they'd be like, get him out. And I'm like, oh, I had like one bite of food.
Yeah.
And it was like, but the fat bodies, we had one kid. This kid could do maybe like 1 pull-up, 2 pull-ups, like tops. And they just messed with him. Like, like, you're a pig. You're like, you are a pig.
It's fat shaming at its finest.
Oh yeah. It's freaking, it's awesome. I mean, I watched Full Metal Jacket with my daughter for the first time. She's 11. She's like,
appropriate age.
Do they really talk to you like that, Dad? Do they hit you? I'm like, they don't hit you anymore, or they're not supposed to. May or may not have seen people get struck. Deserved it, but they definitely yell at you like that. And yeah, like I said, the fat shaming, the just level of
berating
is just like, if you didn't know how to talk trash before you joined the Marine Corps, you learn at boot camp, because your drill instructors are doing to you all day. And it's not even like a, oh, I'll just laugh about it. And there are some guys that can't keep a straight face, but like, I just stare off into the distance and just get dip spit in my face. And I'm taller than most of the drill instructors, so they hit me in the nose with their campaign cover, but it's there's
beautiful
stuff. Yeah, I mean, it is.
It really is. Too.
It is the stuff that you see, then you like hear them, like they'll come out and they'll just destroy you, like, or destroy the whole platoon. And then they like go into their little drill instructor hut, and you like hear them laughing in there. And, you're like, in boot camp, you're like, oh man, that's diabolical. And now, knowing what we know, like they're in there just cutting up about whatever they just did out there. And they had like a 2-way mirror, so they can see everything you do, right? Or everything you're doing while they walk away. So if you break the position of attention, somebody's watching. Yeah. It's definitely.
Is it worse in Marines than it is in others?
Yeah, I think Marines are known. They have the hardest boot camp.
That's the way that I picture it.
It is. Marines. That's I think undeniable.
Yeah, I mean, you can't argue that. At this point, every boot camp has its special bit of, jackassery. But
yes, in the Navy, the emphasis is on folding clothes, folding your clothes and making your bed, and then that's about the amount of exercise that you're getting. It's so weak. And so pathetic, and so like when I went, I was obviously wanting to be a SEAL, and I'm thinking in my head that Navy boot camp is going to be like Marine boot camp. Like I didn't have any distinction between, different branch. I was like, oh, it's all going to be the same. And I remember just being a couple weeks in the Navy boot camp, and I'm like, dude, I'm getting out of shape. Like you're just a block. You're like not doing anything. So I would purposefully, cause we had to get inspected at night, and I would purposely hide stuff or move somebody else's stuff, so we would just get beat, because I was like, this is the only way that I'm going to be in shape. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm like,
you're the Blue Falcon.
Oh yeah, dude. I was like, I'm getting in shape somehow, and so I would hide stuff so we get beat for an hour. But even the beatings, I was like, these aren't even that bad.
Right.
It's just, but people can't. You see real quick in boot camp the people who can't take any type of stress at all, whether it's people raising their voices at them, they'll crumble. Then you add in some physical exercise, then you see people, the tears start coming out.
Yeah, literally grown men crying.
Yes,
insane.
You see the differences between men at that place.
Yeah, like the folding of the clothes, making of the rack, like that for me, critical vulnerability. Terrible at it.
Same.
When I got to the fleet, I had a foot locker of everything folded and marked just so for inspections. And they're like, all right, inspection, I just bust that out.
Yeah.
And I pay somebody to fold it for me, because that's not my forte. I mean, you see, I brought the shirts in here earlier.
That's
rolled up.
There you go.
Yep. Yeah. There it is. Not good at that stuff. Not at all. Yeah, the seeing grown men cry over stuff is definitely like you're like, is this
It's eye-opening.
real life? Like you're going to protect this country?
Yeah, like this is who's signing up. Like what
Right.
the heck? But then you have a good percentage of like
Yeah.
dudes that are they're ready to get it on. So
Yeah, the Marine Corps has this like really amazing knack at like making the biggest deal out of nothing, right? Like life or death, like type stuff over the most simple things, right? Like if you don't make your rack right, you could get everybody killed
Yep.
in combat.
Attention to
right?
detail.
Right, attention to detail, which is the truth, right? And they're like breaking you down to your bare bones, right? And like building you back up the Marine Corps way, so to speak. But like whether it's like a knowledge test, right? Whether it's a PT test or just drill, right? Like if you mess it up, right, it's like catastrophic.
Yeah.
And it's just you're gonna get everyone killed. Everyone's gonna die because of your mistake, right? And they stress you out over the like most little things, like you didn't spit shine your boots good enough. Like just the battalion commander is gonna come in and fail you on this inspection, and then because of you, our platoon failed. And
Yeah.
we're the bastard children of the company. Don't let it be you. You're like, oh gosh, okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
They strike the fear into you to make sure you fall in line for
Right.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah, they do.
I remember one person describe it to me as the Marines it's not necessarily efficient, but they are for sure effective. He said
Yeah.
that he's like, you may put like 100 guys on a task because that task is going to get done. And like they focus on the task being done, less about the means of getting it done. Like they're going to use whatever means.
Instant
possible.
obedience to orders really is what it is, right? Like that's what they're training you for. They're like, hey, Gallagher, go take that machine gun position. Like, and you're like, Roger that,
Yep.
gone. Like instant obedience to orders is what they're all about. And they are, they're dang, they got boot camp down.
Effective.
They got boot camp down to a science.
Oh, yeah.
Like they're efficient and they're effective, and
They create robots.
yes, they absolutely
Absolute
do.
robots, dude, that are
Yep.
ready to like do anything you tell them.
Yeah. And, for some guys need that. Guys who come from there's people from all walks of life in there, and so for some of them guys, like the first family they ever had. But some of them have never been disciplined a day in their life. And so you can tell immediately that because they struggle.
Yeah.
Guys never got yelled at by coaches or their parents. Like, for me, that was like old home week almost.
Same.
My mom chewed me out regularly as a kid. I got, spanked fairly a lot when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But coaches, yelled at me. I had some super tough coaches. So getting yelled at by a drill instructor, like, hey, look, I'm used to waking up early for milking cows. And now the only difference is I got to make my rack, get online, get yelled at by some dude, But for some guys, that's hard.
Yeah.
Like they never experienced anything like that in their life. And you can tell those guys right away. But then it's like, the teamwork thing, right? So it's up to you, Coupe, to help Dave because he's struggling. And if Dave fails, you fail.
Yeah.
And then you failed us all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're good at that, too.
Yeah. You're only as fast as your slowest guy. And
Yep.
You got to bring them all up to speed, no
Yeah.
matter how much of a turd they are. It's like they're on your team, so you better make it work.
Yeah.
And that's the great thing about the Marines too is though like you can be the lowest guy in the totem pole, you're still part of that tribe. You're going to get treated like the lowest guy in the totem pole for sure until you prove yourself and get into a different position, but they're not going to like disband you.
Right.
It's,
Everyone can talk trash to the turd, but if someone from the outside the organization talks trash to the turd, everyone's going to go and
fight them.
do
It's
bodily
that's
harm
our
to them.
Like
yeah.
a family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's our turd.
Like if
not
we're
yours.
if we're busting each other's chops about being a recon Marine and a SEAL and everything that goes with that, and we're talking shit to each other, and some other guy starts talking crap to him, right? I'm immediately all our trash talking's done, and we're gonna beat the crap out of him. Like that's how that goes, But yeah.
After that first deployment, where you in seeing the recon Marines, you immediately said, "Hey, this is what I want to do."
So I'm not, I'm a grunt at heart. I'm not really the sharpest knife in the drawer. And I'm a Marine, so obviously I'm not that smart. But so after that deployment, like all the force dudes were like, "Hey, look, come come do the screener. It was super political back then. So like having people vouch for you, right? That's like half the battle.
Yep.
And then passing the screener and going the rip.
You had to give references?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, but yes.
Okay.
If you just showed up for a screener and you made it, right, you would go over there. But if you had multiple people you might just go to battalion recon for force recon. It was almost strictly a like vetting process. Like you need to know somebody. Like, hey, this is when the screener is, right? You know, this guy and this guy vouched for me or whatever, right? And they're like, hey, you know, and then you go do it. So that goes a long way. Do you have to? No. But back then, they didn't just run like screeners at convenient times. So they would have a screener at like 2 a.m. at like the Area 5 or Area 2 pool. You'd go do it, and then you'd show back up to battalion PT at your company in the grunts because the grunts don't want to let you go.
Yeah.
Right. So if you were like, hey, you go to your first sergeant, like, hey, first sergeant, I want to go take the recon screener. He'd be like, no, we can't afford to lose you. Absolutely not. I order you not to. Right. And they like make it sound like you're this critical member to the infantry battalion, which you are, but you're not. You know, like
you're replaceable.
Right. You're just a number. Right. But they do this really good job of trying to convince you that, like, if you leave, it is catastrophic to the unit.
How dare you? How dare you leave this unit?
Right.
How dare you want to make something better of yourself?
Right.
Yeah.
And the dude probably couldn't swim either, and he just didn't, jealous. But after that, and then you go to a screener, show back up for PT, and then like 2 weeks later, they'd cut you orders, and then you'd go to the sergeant major's office, get your ass chewed, right, for like, how dare you, all the stuff we just said. Can't believe it, but all right, you got orders, so see you later. After that deployment, I went to go do the screener, and they're like, hey, if you want to come to Forest Recon, you got to extend for 2 years. And I'd already been in about 2 years. Yeah, I've been in 2 years at this point. And I was like, after that first deployment, I'm like, 2 more years? Like, I don't care where I am. I'm not doing it. Like, I'm not extending for 2 years. So I went to sniper platoon, and they're like, hey, if you want to come to snipers, you got to extend for 2 years. I'm like, absolutely not. Critical mistake on my part, by the way, because all my buddies that went to force company or all my buddies that went to snipers, none of them extended because the invasion happened.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, my one buddy went to snipers. They were in sniper school in stalking phase, and they pulled him out to go to the invasion. He never even finished school, a couple of them. So that was a huge miscalculation on my part. But I was like, you know what? I'll just be a squad leader in Gulf Company. Screw it, And then I did 2 more deployments in the grunts before I did that.
Where'd you end up deploying to after that first one?
By the way, on that first one, you're talking about PTSD from shipper. I call it the PSTDs, right? So like before you have full blown PTSD, the PSTDs. We held the record since World War II for most consecutive days on ship. I think it was like 148 or something.
Without getting off.
Without getting off. So we were in mod lock because it was right after 9/11. So we were off the coast we're in the Gulf of Aden. We actually went ashore, us and the force platoon, because we were the QRF for stuff going on in Afghanistan, which we almost made it. We stood down for a couple of missions, but didn't get to go. And I really didn't realize how close we were until I read, what the heck, Relentless Strike, I think is the book, like the history of JSOC and all that. And I'm like reading about after 9/11 and the island of Masira and I'm like,
I was there.
I'm like, oh damn, we did almost make it, but a lance corporal in the crunchies, he doesn't get told anything. No. The force guys knew I didn't. But yes, that deployment was terrible. After that, we went to the invasion. So that was a huge disappointment, honestly.
The invasion?
Yeah. Because Gulf Company, they ended up staying on Camp Commando in Kuwait and did security there. But my platoon, we got detached and went into Iraq with Echo Company, which was good because we're like,
sweet, going to the show.
Yeah, we're going to the show. And like the day the invasion started, we were running I was running the ECP at Camp Commando in Kuwait, and Bush comes on like shock and awe and all this stuff. I'm like, well, great, war just started, and I'm sitting here running a frickin' checkpoint at Camp Commando Kuwait. This just freaking awesome. Got relieved, was walking back to our hooch, and this another squad leader was like, man, I don't think Saddam could hit us with anything down here. And within like a minute, a seersucker came in under radar and hit like 100 yards from us. And like sirens, the sirens are going off, and freaking Scuds end up launching a bunch of those that day. And I was like, oh, we put our gas masks on, like stuff just got like real. I'm like, oh man. So that day, I think they blew like 16 Scuds out of the air, the Patriot guys. So I owe those guys a beer, because like you could see that happening in the sky. And I'm like, well, here we go, stuck here for the invasion. And they're like, hey, you guys are going to go fly out tomorrow with Echo Company to go into Iraq. I'm like, hell yeah, let's go get some. And then we went and got some, all right. We freaking flew or drove around Iraq. We did airfield security. We did security on some ASP in the middle of nowhere. And then we just left it. It'd been hit by a bunch of airstrikes, but there was a whole crap load of munitions there. And we did security there, did some patrols, ended up leaving it. Right, we did like a bunch of patrols, shot a couple rounds, got mortared once or twice, but no, like we were like when Nasiriyah was hot, we're in this huge convoy, and we're like, look, there's an Nasiriyah, like you could see the gunfight going on, and we're just driving right by it, and I'm like, I literally have a freaking picture of me holding up a sign that says "War?" ? Like with an arrow, like this way, like where are we going? And it was like not like we didn't try to go find people to go kill, because that's what we're doing. But when you're in the grunts and they're like, hey, go here. Yeah, there's, like you said, no question, just go. Yeah, go like we're 10 clicks south of Baghdad at one point on this airfield, which was a critical airfield. And we're doing local security patrols, and we can see Baghdad just getting smashed every night. And we're like, come on, man. Like, get us closer, please. So, yeah. And, like, the invasion was just terrible because we're wearing mop suits the whole time. Yep. And then, like, mop suits are the chemical gas mask suits that you gotta put on. So, like, basically think about wearing a snowsuit here in the summertime. Yeah. Like, terrible. Like, with a gas mask on. Yeah, with a gas mask on. Yeah. And, like, no clothes underneath it. Because you're like, why wear a skivvy shirt? Why wear underwear? Like, just, we don't know when we're leaving. Like, everything is packed. Everything in your life is packed in your ruck. So, and there's no idea how long we're going to be gone or anything like that. So it's just, we just wore no clothes under our mop suits. And one time our chickens died. So like everyone's like, gas, and they forgot to give the chickens water. Like that was our indicator. That was our indicator, like pigeons or chickens, like on the hood of a Humvee. That was like the indicator for it's happening, boys. Yeah. And then some of the little freaking during the sandstorms, like that was the other thing, right? You see a sandstorm coming in the distance, like the sky just turns black, and you're like, just put your goggles down, right? Like one night we're digging a fighting hole, and when the sun came up, that hole was still only 6 inches deep, and there's a huge pile of sand behind us, and we're just like sitting at the edge of it, like, what's going on in my life right now? Yeah. Like no good goggles like we have now, like those old Desert Storm ones that are like this big, One dude in our platoon, he was like stand 2, and he freaking started getting stung in the back of the neck by a scorpion, and he's like starts screaming, like screaming, runs out in front of our fighting holes and all that, and I'm just like this with the gas mask on. And because he's like freaking out in front of friendly lines, and I like, do the little gas symbol, and everyone's like strapping up, and we're like, oh, we're all going to die. This is it. We're all going to die. We got these little kits, with the atropine and 2-pan chloride and the Valium shot. So it's like, here, we'll stabilize you, and then here's the Valium so you go out and die peacefully. Yes. I think that's pretty much what it is. Yeah. But, so that dude, he got, his ass chewed hardcore because they're like, oh, like you have no discipline. You're running out in front of friendly lines. You could have been killed. You take that scorpion sting. Yeah, right. I was like, oh man, that's just so funny. I mean, there's a bunch of funny stuff that happened. Always walked out into a minefield when we're in this huge convoy because, like, how in the grunts usually like an area to go piss, they set up engineer tape. Yeah, you go take a piss. Well, there was engineer tape off the side of the freaking road. Me and one of my team leaders would go take a piss, and they're like, "Hey, you're walking in a minefield." We're like, "Oh, we thought this was the pisser." Like, yeah, we'll retrace our steps out of there. So yeah, invasion was kind of a disappointment for me, unfortunately.
Yeah, was it a disappointment as in like what you were expecting in your mind from like all the movies you watched growing up, and you're like, this is what it's going to be like? Because I think the invasion, because we were part of it too, and it's a letdown in a way, because you have this like, dude, we're gonna go and get after, like, we're about to be in these firefights and all that, and you get there and it's a lot of downtime, a lot of like, what are we doing? Like, what is going on right now? And then maybe small percentage of combat, you know, like
it's like 90% boredom, 10% like adrenaline.
Yeah.
You know, like mortars start coming in. You're like, oh, all right, today's the day, boys. We're going to whoop it on. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, just because of that, like we wanted to be, and we knew there was engagements going on, or like the same force platoon that I deployed with the deployment before, they come rolling out of the desert out of nowhere when we're on this convoy in their IFAVs, right? Windows down, right? Just looking like frickin' a bunch of, beards. I'm like, what are you guys up to? Like, hey, and they're like, oh, hey, what's up? We're looking for people to kill, right? Which, they had missions they were doing, obviously, right? But like just that, right? Like the autonomy that I saw that they had, I was like, oh, dang it, I should have freaking done that.
I want to go where the adults are.
Can I go play with the big kids? Like I'm on the freshman team here, I think that's just really it, like you want to like get after it. Then when you actually get after it hard the first time, you're like, oh,
maybe reel it back a little bit.
We can dial those backs up. Yeah. So that was my invasion experience. They left my platoon at Camp Commando. Like we called ourselves the Bastards, because like anytime it was like time to detach from the company, it was like our platoon. Mm-hmm. So everyone flew home post invasion, and we were just left at Camp Commando for like an extra week. They forgot to like put us on a flight. And so we're like, hey, are we going home? We're the QRF for Camp Commando. Camp Commando lit on fire one day because allegedly a water bottle's outside one of those old canvas circus tents, and the sunshine shining through it started to smolder in a fire. And like 50, 60 tents went up. Like, and you could tell the dudes who were smuggling AKs out of country and all that, because
it was going off.
They're like, oh, QRF. So we had a fire truck with a water tank on the back. So we go there and we're like, we got freaking bouncers on, shower shoes, and this fire truck, and rounds are cooking off, and all kinds of mayhem. Right? There's people standing there in their like towel shower shoes. They're like, that's all they have in their life is now in their hand. Like a pair of skivvy shorts, their hygiene gear, and a towel, right? And millions of dollars of gear is going up. And like when it was all done and smoldering, right? Like you see like saws that were cable locked to racks. You could see AK frames for where sea bags were, like nods. I should have gone and like, my integrity is very high. I should have like grabbed a couple freaking of the nods that were there, like a bunch of other stuff, because it was just all burned up or, whatever. And it was, it's just one of those things you just can't make up, so that was my invasion experience. That was most action. That's the most action I got. Closest I got to getting shot was rounds cooking off in the fire.
You're not the only one with stories like that with the invasion too, man. Yeah. That's so then you did one more deployment after that.
Yeah. We're
back to Iraq, or
we were home for like a month, and they're like, you guys are going to Okinawa, UDP.
Oh,
yeah.
Dang.
And we're like,
get some.
Dang, man. Like, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, because like we got to Oki. And then a couple months later, it was like, oh, Marines are going back to Iraq because, the Army didn't hold it. And so now we got to go, clean up the Army's mess. Right, yeah. So, and I'm like, well, this is freaking bull crap, And I'm like, I put in a re-enlistment package when I was out there. And it came back in like a day, which was unheard of at the time, to go be a drill instructor. And I'm like, you know what? Like this, I'm done with the Marine Corps. I'm going to get out. When I was there, and Oki was actually good because I took it my squad and went down and did security for the task force in Zamboanga City in the Philippines, and that's some of the most fun I ever had in the Marine Corps. So that was cool because I had, we did security for those guys, convoy security and site security. I got to hang out with the SF major, Jack Steele with him every day. I rewrote all the SOPs because they just moved in this compound. Dude liked me a lot, and I was like, I need to go join SF. And he's like, no, the Marines need guys like you. You should stay in the Marines. So I was like, that's ridiculous. Because they're cool. They're professional. Again, being treated as a
human being.
21-year-old sergeant squad leader, being treated like a grown man and having autonomy and, to do whatever I wanted with my guys. So that was like a great experience for me. And at the end of that deployment, I got out, actually.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did. I got out and moved back up to Rochester and went to Monroe Community College and played lacrosse up there and did the reserves, which was easy, like for extra money, especially like during Toys for Tots time. Get like a couple $100 a day just to go to the mall in my dress blues and collect toys from people. And then that unit in Rochester had just turned over from headquarters of tanks to an infantry unit. So on reserve weekends, I would just go in and teach them grunt infantry
Basic,
skills.
Yeah.
So it was good. Did well in lacrosse, like first team all region, academic all American. Was getting recruited to some good schools. I put in an X-ray package while I was out to go in the Army and do that. And went through the whole process. Like I would have gotten a waiver to keep my rank, do all that, but they wouldn't give me a bonus. So like guys off the street were getting $30,000, and then re-enlistees were getting like $100,000 at the time. They wouldn't give me a bonus because I was prior service, so I fell into this weird gray area. So I had a contract, like I was supposed to leave, do all that, and I was like, the day I was supposed to leave, I was like, no, I'm not going. Hindsight being what it is, dumb decision. So I would have made a lot more money and probably picked up rank a lot faster.
In the Army.
Yeah, in the Army. Yeah. So they were like, hey, just come in and talk to us. I'm like, no, I'm not going, man. Like I played this game with the Marine Corps one time already. You don't give me a bonus? Like, not going. And then I signed back up to go in the Marine Corps and go to Recon. So
what was what was the decision factor to do that?
In the military, right? And especially in the grunts, right? Like there's guys who are like, oh man, I could have played Division I football, right? Like, and you go out and play like platoon PT, and this dude can't even catch a football. Yeah. Right. And everyone was like almost a Division I whatever. And I was like, well, you know what? I'm going to scratch this itch. I'm going to go play lacrosse. Marine Corps has kind of been, I was a little disenfranchised with the Corps at the time. So I went and played lacrosse, did well. Was getting recruited to some good schools out of the junior college I was in. And we were ranked 3rd and 4th in the nation both years I played. And, but I was like, I'd rather go back in the Marine Corps and shoot people in the face. Yeah. Like, it was like, one, I didn't find, like when I was out, like I laid tile with my grandfather. I did construction. I was assistant manager at a bar, which was a terrible experience, by the way. I bounced at a bunch of bars because that was fun. And generally, ran amok and partied a lot. But I'm like, I need to, like I felt like that was my calling. That's what I wanted to do. Ever since I saw those Force Recon guys the first time, like I want to be a Force Recon team leader. So let me go do that.
Yeah.
So I made a deal with the recruiter because the recruiting station was right across the street, and I was a menace to those guys. Like I'd go over there on a Friday and be like, hey, let's go over to the public house, which is 2 doors down, the bar, and like, let's get some drinks. He's like, we got to talk to prospects. I'm like, nah, man, let's go have a couple beers first, and we'll talk to your guy. So I'd convince him to do it, which is not very nice of me. And we'd go in there, and I'd be half in the bag. And this kid, he's trying to get this dude to go to Motor T. And by the end of the day, I got him convinced to go to the infantry. And the recruiter, my buddy's like, yo, man, I need to make numbers for
you're hurting my
other jobs, not just the grunts. I'm like, okay. But I made a deal with him. Like, he's like, if I can get you to come back on active duty, I'll be Rookie of the Year. I was like, all right, I'll come back in. It was March. I was like, I don't want orders till June because I need to graduate and finish my lacrosse season. But I'm also not going to do this recruiter's aid crap. I'm not going in uniform. I'm not doing any of this stuff. Let me finish out the year, and then get me orders and get me out. I'll just send you some people's names. So we made that deal, went back on active duty, and then graduated. And
Did you go straight to BRC
no,
or ARS?
I went to RIP.
Okay.
I was checking the RIP.
It's Recon Indoctrination
Yeah.
Program.
Yeah, which is basically a daily haze fest. Like,
Yeah, they just beat you.
correct. Yeah, like on any day you do at least 1,008 counts in the pond that's behind the barracks. There's like 6 inches of mud, Camp Lejeune sludge water in it, while you're like the RIP instructor sitting on a throne of MREs, like like he's the king ding. But yeah, so I went to RIP. I actually went to ARS a week after I got to RIP. So I never did a screener. They just gave me orders.
Okay.
They gave me orders to a company at the battalion, and when I checked in, unknowingly to me, the OOD was a freaking RIP instructor. And this dude's giving me a hard time, and I'm like, "Hey, where's the sergeant major?" Right? Like I know they're still deployed, so there's an RBE, like a remain behind element, skeleton crew basically. And he's like, "Why do you have orders to a company? I don't understand. You're no 311." I'm like, "Dude, I don't know. I guess what the orders say, man. I'm not headquarters Marine Corps." So he's giving me a rash and a shit. And I'm like, "Hey, look, man, if you keep freaking like you're a sergeant, I'm a sergeant. In about 1 minute, I'm going to jump over this counter and I'm going to beat the effing shit out of you. Seriously." Right? And he's like, "All right, come with me." So we go up. I go check in the RIP. And it was like drinking from a fire hose because like all the kids in RIP are like, "This is what you got to do. You got to mark your shirts. You got to do all this stuff, blah, blah." Right? I'm like trying to play catch up. Next morning, guess who comes walking out for PT? Old George Rubel, the dude I just told I was going to kick his ass the day before. I'm like, "Oh, man. Dang." So I got thrashed.
Yeah.
And I went to ARS and failed the screener. Because I never done one. So the 25-meter underwater crossover kicked my ass. You got to swim underwater. Like first you swim 500 yards in camis, no boots, then tread water for a half hour, retrieve and they beehive you pretty good.
Yeah, they'd tug you under.
Yeah, shark you, beehive you, and then retrieve a rifle off the bottom of the pool, come up, tread it, and sound off your name, rank, and all that. And then you do this 25-meter underwater crossover, 25-yard. And at ARS, it's from the tread. So I did it, and I made it like 10 yards. And I came up, and I was like, OF. Right? The guy who's a good friend of mine now was an instructor, and he was like, "Yeah, that's right. Go do it again." So I failed. And I was like, "Oh, man, I just ruined my entire life right now." Like I was standing on the pool deck, like feeling mighty sorry for myself. Like, dude, I'm going back to the grunts. I just re-enlisted. Like this is this is what I came back in to do, right? Because at this point, I'm a grown adult, right, with experience, and I know what the repercussions are here. And I'm like, I just messed up the next 4 years of my life, like big time. Like off to the grunts I go to be a squad leader. This is terrible. And the platoon sergeant of RIP, who's a good friend of mine now, Chad Ramsey, he was like, "Hey, can you explain to me why you're a sergeant and you failed?" I said, "Gunny, I told your staff I had never done a screener. I didn't even know what a crossover was. And they told me, you'll be good. You're 300 PFT or you'll be good." Like, so I ran a perfect PFT. And I said, this is the first time I've done it. I've never even been to the pool since I've been to RIP. And he's like, "You'll be a recon Marine. You're going to go back to RIP." So I went back to RIP for about a month or two, and then I went to BRC out in Coronado, which honestly was a better choice anyway, because you don't get any libo at ARS, but at BRC, you get to go to
you get the weekends off, right?
Yeah, and get to go party in San Diego.
Yeah.
So that was way better, and I never failed a crossover again in my life.
What year were you in BRC?
2006.
Okay, that was 2004 in Buds. Okay, so I had buddies that went through BRC at the same time. So like BRC is across the street from Buds, and so you'll see them running around. They'll have the ropes. They call them ropers. Around them, and then we're students from Buds running around. We have our helmets, and we'd mess with each other all the time. Because when we go eat, you have to lay your helmets out in a line before you go into the chow hall, and so then you'd come out and they'd be all trashed or like helmets would be missing it because the ropers would be running by and they would do stuff to us. Yeah.
What?
It'd be back. It'd be like it's like a little friendly like back and forth, messing with each other.
My buddy still has one of those helmets.
I bet.
And hindsight being what it is, like one, I guess somebody should have kept better accountability. No, but like that's a terrible thing. 'Cause I can't imagine what happened to you guys if you got your helmet stolen.
It's like, well, but you're getting beat regardless. So at that point, you're just like, all right, we're about to get beat again.
Ropers.
Yeah.
The worst would be like we do a ruck run over on your guys' side on the beach, right? Because the instructors would be like, hey, see those lights? That's Mexico. Start running. And then white trucks going, right? This dude's all they would play on the white truck is Mexican music, right? And you're following the truck. Or this dude, Tim Davis, he'd be sitting there on the mic and he was really good at this. I got really good at it too because it was funny. Be like, hurry up, please, thank you. Hurry up, please, thank you. Hurry, please, thank you. Hurry, please, thank you. Hurry, please, thank you. So like 15 miles or to the turnaround point anyway, because you don't know how far you're going that day. That's all you're hearing is Mexican music or that. But then it's like it pays to be a winner. So if you're the first 3 guys back, you could run back across, shower, get some chow in a relatively relaxed fashion. But you got to run everywhere you go. So the crap thing was that by the time we'd be done, these guys would be going to chow, and they got to run. So then it would be a race.
Yeah.
So I just ran 15 miles, and I'm not going to get beat by no freaking Bud student with my ruck on anyways, right? And now we're having this race across another, how far is that, like mile or something like that to the chow hall?
Mile back, yeah.
So like, and then you're like, oh, here's an extra mile. Thanks, guys,
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Coronado is, that was.
It's not a bad place.
It's not a bad place.
No, man.
It's not a bad place.
Yeah. I had a smile on my face the whole time going through Buds because I'm like, dude, it's Coronado Island. The sun's out all the time for most of the time. And then I'm like, it's not Lejeune. So it's not Camp Lejeune. So it's awesome here. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's, like if you can take a thrashing, like if, for you, you'd already done time in the grunts.
Yeah.
Right. So what's being wet,
it was
miserable and sandy.
It was already part of my life, so I'm like, this is nothing new.
Yeah, exactly. So you come when you're more of a senior guy, like you have a different mindset when you hit those schools. It's like cooperate to graduate. Or if it's a rough day, chow to chow. And try to not have young kids do stupid shit, so you get thrashed. Which we had like 25 guys from the East Coast went out there because. First Recon didn't have enough guys to like fill all the seats, and a lot of us were NCOs, and we had our new guys, our boots were trained, like we call our new guys boots. It's like the most insulting thing you could ever call a Marine.
Boot,
like a boot, yeah. And the West Coast dudes, like right from the day of the screener, they're like, hey, get it in 2 lines, and when all our guys are in 2 lines, and they're just dilly-dallying around, and I start like, hey. They said, get in 2 effing lines. Let's go. This kid puts his hand on my shoulder, and he's like, hey, man, it's not like that around here. I'm like, who are you? And he's like, PFC Conley. And I was like,
I'm going to eat your face.
Get the F away from me. Now. Get in 2 lines now, or I'm going to hurt you. Right? Like, those poor dudes, like, got 1 crushed in their own backyard, so they should kind of be embarrassed, right? But 2, like, after the day was over, we'd be out there. We had like a couple pieces of anchor chain. We called Iron Mike. We'd be thrashing them out there. Like Gunny Coronado would be like, hey, Coupe. And my other buddy, Hunter, was like, hey, Sorrels, come in here. Like, we can't be holding screeners at the barracks after hours. I'm like, hey, Gunny, I have to go run off the other end of the pier and get wet and sandy 3 times today because of these guys. And they're not doing what they're told. So, and they're, basically disobeying orders from an NCO, right? If we want to go that way, I can charge them or I can thrash them, And he's like, oh, just don't go overboard. Yeah. Don't go overboard. But yeah, I enjoyed BRC.
Yeah. Where did you get stationed back? Obviously back in Lejeune.
Yeah. I did it. So
were you in 1st Recon Battalion or 1st Force?
Second.
Second.
Second Recon Battalion, 2nd Force. 2nd SOTG. I did enough time out there in California, like between like BRC, curriculum review boards and training and stuff to know that I didn't want to be stationed out there. Like if I didn't get medically retired, I was going to volunteer to go to Okinawa. So like if I'm going to live somewhere where I can't like hunt and have all the gun rights that I want to have, I'll just go to Oki and suck that up and then come back and retire. But I got medically retired, so it didn't happen. But
did you actually go on any deployments with Force Recon?
Yeah. So when I got back from that, I went to jump school and SEER school. Actually went to sniper school, but got dropped.
Is it similar to like you when you graduate buds and SQT, then you check into a team? Is it similar like that where you check into a battalion?
Yeah, so nowadays you go through like a pipeline kind of like they do.
Yeah.
So the guys graduate BRC, they go to dive, they go to jump, they go to free fall, SEER, and then they check in.
Okay.
And they'll check into a team. Back then, you would leave BRC, check into a company, and then a team. Like for me, a lot of the guys I was in RIP with, the ARS class that I was supposed to be in, and then my BRC class, we ended up being team leaders right from Jump Street at the battalion, which was awesome. So they would do what's called a schools phase back then. So you'd do like a year of like schools, get your insert capabilities.
Like certs, basically, like certifications.
Yeah, you get your jump, dive, so you have your insertion capabilities. Like,
but you were already checked into a team when you were getting those certification or those schools.
Everyone's already in a team, so they'll do the school phase for 6 months or a year or whatever, and then you start a workup for deployment.
Do you get options in that where you're like, man, I'll do dive, but I won't do school, or like,
no,
you just got to do them all?
You better be lucky you get. Back then, you were lucky to get anything. So it was the same thing at the SEAL team. So when I checked in, you still had we all went to basic whatever the jumping and Fort Bragg. We all went to that, but then when you check into the team, you don't have free fall, you don't have anything, so you are gunning for spots to try and go to those schools. So if you're offered a slot to a school, it's like you take it, because even if it's like a shitty school, you're like
you have to.
You don't. Yeah. Plus,
otherwise you're just wasting your time, like sitting around.
That, and plus it's like an attitude like, oh, you
don't want to go.
You're special. Like you don't need to go. So I guess we'll fill somebody else. Take somebody else. Like no, you will go to this school, but they reformed it now along with everybody else. So now the students they get everything before they check into a team. So they'll jump, dive, all that stuff qualified before they actually check in, which it makes more sense that way.
Absolutely it does. Absolutely. Some guys, they like kind of get screwed because they go to like driving schools, right? Like not like good ones. Like you have to have a license to drive everything in the military. Like Humvee school, 7 tons. MRAPs, all this, right? And there was like a joke with one of the guys on my team. He was like, I'm going to get a golden steering wheel to put on my uniform because I've been to every driving school known the man,
That's awesome.
But I didn't I never went to dive school ever, like, which sucked honestly because that's extra money and insert capability. But we did. I went to jump, went to sniper, got kicked out.
Would you go to Stone Bay?
Yeah. That's where I learned to not play the name game at that school, because 2 of the instructors had been kicked out of my buddy's sniper platoon in 3-6. 2 of my really good friends at the battalion, and 2 other dudes had been kicked out of the battalion. So when I checked in there, I was like, "Hey, you guys know Hunter and Jeremy?" And they were like, came unglued. F that. F those mother effers, right? They're pieces of shit, like all this stuff. And I'm like, ooh, like I probably should have just checked out right then.
Yeah.
So like, I didn't stay. I was a marked man, So and I was like, so it's funny when I talked to Mick and he was like, "You're a sniper, right?" I'm like, "No, I didn't get to go and make that right."
Yeah.
Like,
would you land nav phase or
no marksmanship?
Marksmanship. Okay.
Actually. So
I barely made it past marksmanship,
dude.
I was down in my last shot.
My data book had me qualling every qual, pre-qual, qual, re-qual, but the pits did not. And one of those dudes kicked out of that platoon was standing there watching my target. There was other dudes from our whole class was Recon and MARSOC guys, and like 2 dudes from the grunts and 2 dudes from Ranger Bat. And there was some of my buddies from MSOB. They freaking went unk by like 5 shots. They just got pit love. They're like, dude, it was easy because they're all watching that dude. One dude's watching your target. That's it. And I'm like, well, roger that. And the bolt was coming out of the back of my gun, right? Like, so they're my academic review board, which the guy in the OIC of sniper school is actually my company commander at boot camp. I just saw the guy actually last Christmas randomly, oddly enough. But I was like, oh, I'm going to use this thing in Iraq, right? Let me get a fresh gun or fix my gun. Give me a new spotter, right? Because he made some super bad wind calls for me. And let me go pass. And they're like, no. So I got launched out of there and didn't get to go make that right, which sucks. I shot some people with sniper rifles, a bunch actually, in Afghanistan. But I didn't go make that right, which... like Mick's like, oh yeah, you were. I'm like, no, man, I didn't get to do that. I'm like, do you every time? He's like, sorry, brother. Rub it in. That back then, honestly, it was the most unprofessional school I'd ever been to, and I never wanted to go back till I was like a staff NCO, because
it's
guys like this was before like PRS.
What's PRS?
PRS shooting like competitions now like. The instructors, they went to school, they did a deployment, and they went to be an instructor. There's no depth of knowledge there. Like I would ask questions, like they'd be jaw jacking behind us like while you're shooting, and then you ask them a question, but they didn't have like an answer for it. Mm-hmm. Like nowadays, if you ask an instructor a question, like or talk about ballistics or.
Well, they have the knowledge base to explain everything. I
mean,
right.
It's come a long way.
It depends, and I think it just depends on the instructor staff that they have at the time. Because I remember the instructor staff I had was super knowledgeable. But they were.
Who'd you have? Did you have Gavin?
No, I had Gunny DeBonis.
Oh yeah, Frank.
Yeah,
he's solid.
I had Claude, which Hutchinson. He switched his name to Claude. I had Wright. I mean, the dudes that were there were. Yeah. I was like in awe of because they knew everything and they took it super seriously.
Yeah. And you get to go as a FMF corpsman.
Yeah. Well, so I had a rough time going through there because obviously Skinta and them, they got me a slot.
Yeah.
But I was told from the beginning, you will not get credit for this. You can go through the course, but you are not going to graduate with everybody because this is a Marine run course, but we like you and you are in a state platoon, so you're allowed to go through it, but just know, And I was like, dude, I don't care. I'm just happy to go. So when I went, obviously a couple of the guys from my platoon that were instructors, they're the ones who sort of got me the slot there. But the rest of the instructors were like, dude, why is this? And rightly so. It wasn't like I was ever like, oh, how, you guys, they were like, why is this corpsman going through this course?
Not only is he a pig, he's a corpsman.
He's a corpsman, and he's a medic, and he's taken another slot, probably, But I actually didn't take a slot. I was an extra body because I was working as a medic as well. But yeah, I got extra love all the way through, and it's like one of those things where it's like, cool. Dude,
in the grunts, that's legendary. We sent our corpsman in my first platoon at Recon Battalion to sniper school. And they were like, same thing. Why is a SARC going to sniper school? He's a medic first, right? No. Go.
Yeah. And I earned their respect at the end. When I finished, they were like, dude, they all respected me. I remember they had the picture up on the sniper at the schoolhouse, and it says Doc. It says Doc and the Dirty Dozen for our class.
That's awesome.
So it's something. Yeah. I'm more. I've said this before. I'm more proud of that than making it through buds.
Yeah,
because
that's a big deal.
Yeah,
there's
it is because it's dude, I didn't belong.
Right.
So I had that going for me, and it's one of the hard. It's a hard school. It's got a 75 to 80% attrition rate.
Yep.
So either way,
because back then you had to do all the calculations
manually. And I'm not, and I wasn't the best shooter anyways by any means. I'm not going to say that. There's if I'd have qualified by 10 shots. Right, if I had scored a 90, right, there'd been no way I could have been dropped. I wasn't the best, right? Things weren't number one. I'm bad at math, right? So and
there's a lot of calculations.
Back then, there was a lot of calculations. Now I can shoot long range like a champ because I have things in my ballistic computer. I don't got to math nothing. There was that on me too. So like, yes, I was a marked man, but there was also on me
Yeah.
that I didn't shoot well enough. I mean, and that's straight up. I can admit that.
Yeah.
But it's a tough school for
Yeah.
sure. And then like as a recon Marine, like when I got sent back to the battalion, I was like, oh man, like, and this is, you know, you can't at that when you're a young, you know, Marine or you know, when you're a young operator, right? Like in your brain, failure is not an option.
Yes.
Right.
No, it's hard.
And if you fail something like that brings you down way more than a few pegs, you know, like
To yourself or to others?
to yourself.
Yeah.
Right. Like you expect, right, to like perfection from yourself and others to be the best, right? Because you're the top 1% of the entire.
Yeah. Your standards are high.
Your standards are high.
Yeah.
Guys like us, our standards are higher than the standard because we want to be top performers at everything that we want to do, at everything we do, period. Like, and so that's, you just get used to expecting that of yourself. And when
Yeah.
you fail something like that, like it takes you down pretty hard. But, you know, you're going to fail stuff.
Yeah. And I think that, but it's also, it makes you a stronger operator if you do fail, and then you can bounce back and like either just move on and be as good as an operator as you can, or you go back and try and accomplish what you failed. But either way, like I failed so many, like even when I was in the teams, like I failed free fall school the first time.
Oh, really?
The final, yeah, like the ruck jump.
Mm-hmm.
It was a final jump, and you had to jump out, and you can't spin. You can't do a full 360 spin. It has to be right on, boom. And I kept, like, I would do a almost 360, but I would gain it and then come back. But they were like, no.
And that was just MFF?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so you had no pilot chute?
No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So they were like, dude.
A lot of dudes actually used to fail that back for not being able to fly a ruck.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
And I remember going home after they failed me. You know, I was newly married. Me and Andrew were newly married. She was just like, "What is wrong with you?" Like I was like, "Dude, I'm a piece of shit."
Oh yeah,
I'm the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
Like and she's like,
"They're gonna crush me when I get back to the command."
Like, what the heck?
Because you did a 360.
Or because but I, you know, and then I bounced back and went back and but I mean, that's the beauty of like. You're expected to be a top performer at everything you do, and you want to be that top performer at everything you do, but you also realize it's like, dude, there's some things you're not gonna you're gonna mess up and you're gonna make mistakes, but a real operator it's how they bounce back from those, right?
100%.
And you know, it's what somebody, and I've seen it before where you have, you know, there's the golden boys in where they're just like good at everything, and you're like
honor grads,
well, you see them fail once and you see them crumble.
Yeah.
Because they've never failed anything before. And they're like, oh, and it's, you know, and you're like, dude, it's all right. And they're like, no, I'm not. And that's part of the pressure we put on ourselves.
Absolutely.
Big time. Yeah.
For us, there's like two, like when I checked back in the battalion, my first sergeant's like, hey, look, because I was like, what's going to happen to me? Am I going to lose my team? Right. Because that's what I could see happening. Like, hey, I worked my ass off to be a team leader. Right. Am I going to lose my team? He's like, look, there's two schools at this battalion you can fail and not get in trouble for. One is sniper, and the second is jump master. It's like we expect most guys to get sent home from those schools.
Yeah.
And that's just the reality of it. He's like, so, you know, frickin' dust your frickin' boots off and get back after it.
We had
like,
two force guys in my sniper school get booted right at the end at the FTX.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you do a week-long FTX at the end. It's like the final thing to graduate sniper school, and you get one MRE for the whole week, and you are, I mean, putting in some miles with that ruck on, and you're doing these different missions. Well, it was freaking cold, and it's cold. It's like miserable. And I guess these two dudes were caught. They had wetsuits. They put wetsuits on under their, which, you know, it's like, hey, dude, I wouldn't expect anything less from an operator, right?
Sometimes.
Like, hey, I'm going to think it, but sniper school is like, oh, no, dude.
It wasn't, I bet you, because it wasn't on the warning order.
It's not on the warning order of the gear list, and you cheated. And this is at the end, dude.
Yeah.
They dropped them. And I remember I was like, bro, what's going to happen to those guys when they get back? Because they were like, dude, they were forced recon, man.
Yeah.
Like, but again, I learned real quick, like that course, so many people get dropped from.
Yeah. And they don't want recon Marines and MARSOC there. Like, they don't. I mean, like you said, attrition is the mission. So there's a high attrition rate anyways, but when you go there in your recon and MARSOC, especially like my class, where they'd be like, you know, go run the Hathcock pigs, right? And we were like doing the airborne shuffle, like the slowest of the slow airborne shuffle, because everyone's NCOs.
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah, okay, right? And they're like, and they call you pigs, you know, and they're like, go pig. And you're like, get on your face. And you're like, whatever, dude. Like, here we go again. They don't want recon and MARSOC there. So a lot of us got dropped anyways. But yeah, definitely like a rough course.
Yeah.
For anybody. And, you know, unfortunately now they have the recon sniper course, and then MARSOC has mask. So
Yeah. Which I think they'll bring back sniper school eventually.
I mean, I think we're talking about it last week, like 3 years. How many years before they bring it back?
Yeah.
Because it's going to.
Yeah.
It has to.
So where did you end up deploying after, like, you got in, started going to all your schools? And
So we were working up to go to Iraq in 2007, and I was in a Humvee rollover and broke my femur and my back, fractured my forehead, and a bunch of other stuff. So I didn't go on that deployment, obviously. That happened out of Mojave Viper out in 29 Palms right before we were supposed to deploy, which sucked bad. Because, like, the doctor's like, hey, you're not ever going to be a recon Marine again. Like, my femur almost popped out of my skin, like medical nightmare, you know. And so I was just sitting, you know, home in New York in a recliner, like leg up, like feeling sorry for myself for a good bit. And then I was like, no, not listening to the doctor. So I'm gonna heal up and I'm gonna continue doing what I do. So I went to Summer Mountain Leaders less than 8 months after I broke my femur and my back and all that, which was a terrible.
is that Bridgeport?
Yeah. Which was a terrible move, honestly, because my body was nowhere near.
That's a rough course to go to as well.
Dude, my body was not anywhere close to being healed to go to that course. Like, ran my slowest PFT time out there. It was rough, but it was amazing. I'm glad I did it, though, because that prepped me for my Afghanistan, which is my next deployment in 2009. We went there.
Where are you guys at?
We're up in Nowzad, northern Helmand.
Okay.
So, probably one of the most kinetic areas in the country at the time.
Yeah.
We worked. So I had, and I was blessed, honestly, because the rest of our company stayed at Leatherneck, and they were the raid force for the CG, basically, Task Force Raider. And we did RNS for 2-3. And golf company most of the time, but so we had all of Ops, Box, Tripoli, and we got to do traditional green side reconnaissance and surveillance, and that was what we did, like, for probably 80% of that deployment, which was awesome. We found the Taliban shadow governor of Nowzad district on one mission. Worked with 2-3. The golf company guys were freaking like our brothers.
Yeah.
They had their sniper team that they had out there was like our fourth team. Like, we took them guys under our wing, operated like just seamlessly with them, and we got to help those guys and, you know, go kill a lot of bad dudes.
Yeah.
So it was a freaking super awesome deployment from the, you know, reconnaissance side, and we did a bunch of raids too. So it was a good one.
Yeah. Helmand at round 09 was hot.
It was hot.
Yeah.
And I mean, that right there, you know, like when you have the deployment where, like, you have some of the most frightening times of your life, like, that was
it.
That was the one. Yeah, because, like, and I remember when they're like, hey, you guys are going to go work for 2-3 up in Nowzad, and we're in the freaking skiff, and I was looking at the IED tracker, right, all around Fob Cafaretta. There was nothing but red IED marks everywhere. I'm like, oh, this is about to get, like, real. And that place was just loaded with, like, we were patrolling through a minefield one night that nobody knew was there. Like, somehow, from when it turned over the Estonian and Brits to the Americans, nobody, like, they knew there was a minefield in one spot, but they didn't know that this one field was a minefield, and there was IEDs there, and we were trying to go through it to go set up an ambush, and we, like, were marking IEDs with, like, bottles of IR Chem Light juice. We'd have a mine sweeper, engineer sweeping.
Yeah.
And if he thought something was an IED first, his name was Tom Martin. He was a psychopath. He'd take if he thought it was an IED, he would tap the ground with the metal detector. And it was like, you know, it's middle of the night. I'm like, what's he doing? and then he would tap it with his foot, and then he'd jump on it. And I grabbed my point man. I just started moving him back. And my point man for that deployment, he's the command master chief over at MARSOC now, actually. So at the time, I called him my NARC, my non-amphibious reconnaissance corpsman, because he'd been through BRC, but not the rest of the pipeline yet. And we were short before deployment. Like one of the guys left our platoon, so I needed a point man. So I grabbed him. And I made him rip his caduce off and put a petty officer chevron on. And so he was my point man. You could always use another medical guy anyway. And so I was like, I'm pulling him back. And I'm like, hey, Tom, what the fuck are you doing, man? He's like, better my legs than yours, right? I'm like, no, man. Like, no, yeah, sure, yes, absolutely. But no, not at all. Yeah, and we had ended up going around that thing because it was just, we ran out of 2 huge bottles of higher chem light juice. Like we literally had an SOP to hold the dude's shoulder in front of you and step in the footsteps of the guy in front of you. So that way we didn't step on stuff, like in scenarios like that, you know? Yeah, that was a great deployment. Was
that your last deployment?
No.
No, none?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, we worked for 2-3, then we worked for 3-4 for a little bit at the end.
That Dark Horse.
Yeah. That got a little dicey.
Yeah, because they were up in Sangin province.
There were some of them over there, and we had Lima Company over where we were at in Nowzad, and they really didn't listen to anybody during the turnover. And like the first op, the sniper team went out in the district center and got blown up, and we had to go save them and rescue them. So that was that. Yeah, it was a crazy day because we put the first sergeant on the truck, who's now the senior enlisted of the Marine Corps.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We put him in the truck because he was like condition black. Like,
he lost it?
He was just staring off into the distance. So I got some, not very much love for him because he spoke about that day like a year ago on Instagram, and I'm like, it's not what happened.
That's not what went down.
That's not what went down. Right.
It's usually...
It's just, one day he and I are going to have a conversation about it because I need to understand what was going through his mind on that day, you know, and hash that out as men. See what he says. But anyways, yeah, that deployment was, it was a good one, rough one. We didn't lose anybody, thankfully. We did lose a couple guys in our company. That stunk, obviously. But after that, when I got home from that deployment, then I went down to Force Company because they just stood Force Recon back up like 8 months prior or a year prior to that. So a lot of our platoon just went down the hall or downstairs, I guess we'd call it, and we were in a Force platoon. So same platoon sergeant. A lot of the guys were still, you know, in the teams, same team type stuff.
Just different authorities, different mission set.
Yeah, all that. So, and then we did a MEU.
Oof.
So, and we were supposed to leave in May, and we left in March, and they didn't tell us we were coming home from that MEU until January of the following year. So we were like literally did an 11-month MEU.
Oh, gross.
So your PSTD ship thing.
Yeah,
is
that would
a real deal. Good thing on that deployment was that we're the Force Recon platoon, so now we had, you know,
you're top of the food chain.
Top of the food chain. We got to go train the hostage rescue team in Qatar. There was a target vessel in the Med that the SEALs flew down and hit while we were like 60 clicks away, so I was kind of butthurt about that. Super butthurt about that, because when I was at SOTG, we were doing the VBSS NTTP, and the guys were there from the SEALs they're like, what do you guys think about this? They're like, we don't know. We don't do VBSS. Ask these guys. They do it. I'm like, no. You guys flew down from Norway and hit that vessel, you know? And they're like, yeah, we did. But it was a long way. We trained some, you know, UAE guys that do hydrographic surveys, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
A
lot of FID.
Yeah, a lot of FID, no combat. We're supposed to go into Uganda and train the Ugandans, like a little like Squaliers Chorus Ranger school thing they want us to do, and train them to go find Joseph Kony. And then headquarters Marine Corps was like, no, Force Recon doesn't train foreign militaries. But you know what we were doing like a month later?
Yeah.
Training foreign military. So I was like butthurt about that. The MEU can be great or it can be terrible, you know? Like you can almost, or you can go do great things, or you just jack
Well, you're always
steel.
on the verge of doing something
Right.
like big,
Yeah,
and then it
right.
gets shut down, and then
Correct.
it's always something else, and they spin you up, and you're
Yep.
like, and then it's
Yeah.
a constant spin up, and
Yeah.
eventually it's dangerous too because it can lead to complacency. To
Absolutely.
where guys can be like, well, we
Here we go again.
spun up again, and then it actually
and
happens,
then,
and,
yeah.
guys are like, oh shit, we're doing
Yeah,
it, yeah.
yeah.
So
Yep.
it wears on you.
Yeah. So that was a long one. So both MEU experiences were not like, you know, the best, especially when they don't tell you when you're going home. Because we left early for Arab Spring. So like Arab Spring clacked off in Libya or, you know, in Egypt and all that stuff in the Middle East. And we're like, cool, we're going to go get it. We're going to go get some in a new AO. And then like, they're like, oh, no boots on the ground in Libya. And we're like, because we're spinning up a mission to go do RNS of the Wadan chemical complex. And then the grunts were going to go hit it. And they're like, yeah, no boots on the ground. And we're like, come on. Like, it would have been a dream mission if
Yeah.
it came to fruition, right? Like, hey ho in, right? Do the recce, grunt, destroy some Zeus guns with some jabs, right? Freaking grunts come in, freaking occupy it. Like, everything would have been awesome. But, you know, almost coulda, shoulda, woulda. Didn't happen. So, yeah, that was the last deployment I did.
Okay. And then you medically retired?
No, so I went to SOTG after that, and then
It's Special Operations
training group.
Yeah.
I went over there and taught RNS and CQB, and was the chief instructor over there for a while. Then I got court-martialed.
Oh, nice. All right.
So I followed your situation very closely, because I've had a peek behind that curtain, not anywhere as.
Hey, well, it's still, once you see behind it, you're like, this isn't what I thought it was. Yeah, at all.
Everything that you thought
Yeah.
is not.
No.
Yeah.
It's like it's a big facade.
Yeah. And you see the real military for what it is, right? And you
Yeah.
see commanders for who they are, sometimes friends, and that all of that. So for me, like, I bought some Sappy plates in Vietnam while we were doing some training out there, instructor sustainment. And then a couple years later, I sold them. And I wasn't being reconly about it, like, 'cause I bought them, had receipts, sold them. And to an undercover NCIS agent.
Oh, what a
Yeah.
dork. Like, for plates?
Dude, yeah. And so, like, I had to go see NCIS. And when they brought me in there, like, I checked in, and like the only words out of my mouth was lawyer. I didn't say a dang word else. They read a gazillion charges to me. And like, I just said lawyer enough to the point where, like, all right, you can leave. And I left, and it was like a 2-year investigation. And during that time, I was like, all right, well, I need to get healthy anyway. So I had all these injuries that I'd really not, like, right since my accident, and then other injuries from like Afghanistan.
that's
Right? So I'm
compounded.
like, just going to start doing surgeries, go to the TBI clinic, start taking care of myself. Like, throughout the whole investigation, I still rewrote the curriculums for CQB, RNS, Urban Sniper, VPSS, taught frickin', 4 MEUs worth of recon Marines and security element, like RNS and shooting and all that. So I work as usual. And then went to court martial, and we slayed the prosecution. But I had a receipt for the plates, and I had a stack of papers like that, pictures of the Mickey East Sergeant Major, the who's who in the zoo from Virginia down to North Carolina selling the same stuff I did. But they didn't allow that into evidence.
Of course.
Right. And then, like, when I read the receipt off on the stand, Well, also, by the way, I found out the day I went to the court martial that they recommended a 6105 for me, which is like a bad piece of paperwork, basically, on not one occasion, but 5. And they said no. So I called my colonel up, and he's like, yeah, stop the court martial. Like, just take the 6105. But he didn't have convening authority. But the MHG CO did. And his ad said, nope, keep him at court martial. So went through it, got found guilty, even though we slayed the prosecution. And then we did the sentencing hearing. Like when I said we slayed the prosecution, we slayed the prosecution. Like, their expert witness was a guy at Dermo. He was like, you can't get plates anywhere. We shred like 3,000 sets a year. My expert witness was a dude from like the Pentagon who works for a 3-star. He's a 30-year retired master gun supply guy. He's like, dude, I don't know what he's talking about. We sent 150,000 plates to Afghanistan in the last couple of years, and we don't know where any of them are. You can buy them on eBay. You can buy them here, there, everywhere.
Yeah.
And so anyways, get found guilty, do the sentencing hearing. Then they put everything, they allow everything into evidence at that time because they relaxed the rules of evidence. So it took them like 8 hours of deliberation to find me guilty, which they tried to seat a full jury on me, by the way, because I had the special, the middle one. Tried to seat a full jury. Nobody was any of my peers, right? Like,
of course
no
not.
O3 anythings.
No, they're all candlestick
It was,
makers.
it was all LE battalion, Intel battalion, as a matter of fact, right? So
Candlestick makers?
yeah, cooks, bakers, and candlestick
Cooks,
makers.
bakers, and candlestick
Yep.
makers. Yeah, they're not combat,
Yeah.
Yeah.
dudes that have no idea. They just have no idea on anything.
That
and,
we do.
And really,
Gotcha.
what they are is just institutionalists. They're
Yep.
like,
Yes.
how do you want me to find him? Guilty. Okay, I'll find him
Right.
guilty. If that's
Yep.
what the institution wants. It,
Yep.
it doesn't matter what the evidence says. It's they are going to vote and however the institution wants to vote.
Yeah, 100%. So they deliberated the sentencing for probably 10 or 15 minutes, and that was it. So I'm like, oh man, right? Like I'm ready to rip my chevrons off my Charlie shirt, like on the spot. 'Cause like worst thing they could have done to me was bust me down the sergeant and give me the big chicken dinner. And they're like, all right, $835 fine, which is exactly what NCIS gave me for the plates. Right. So I asked my lawyer, I'm like, what do I do? He's like, go back to work. You'll probably never get promoted again, but you're in sanctuary, so you'll be able to retire. And he's like, go back to work. I was like, roger that. So that court-martial cost, he said an estimate, cost the Marine Corps probably $250,000.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're flying people from Okinawa, right? Like all the
all
all that stuff,
experts
right?
and-
Yeah, all
yeah.
that. And they gave me less than what half month's paying allowances for an E7 would have been as a gunny, right, at NJP. So, I mean, like, that's about as good as I could have came out.
Yeah,
I mean, honestly.
I was
you know,
waiting for you to like
I mean,
what they did to you, and I'm like,
yeah.
oh, well, that's not that's
$835
actually
fine.
pretty good.
Yeah. And yeah, so 2 weeks later, we're doing blue-green integration for the MU, and the head juror walks into my classroom, and he's like, that dude was a Mustang, so he was a admin guy at 1st Recon Battalion. Like, they sent him to jump school, all that, had gold wings. And first break, I'm like, hey, Captain, outside. He's like, got it. I'm like, hey, no, come outside. Like, what happened? He's like, dude, all of us thought that, all us Mustangs, a couple enlisted guys thought that you were innocent, that you just got screwed. The warrant officers on the jury wanted to see you burn. They didn't like Recon Marines. They said they didn't like Recon Marines. They thought you were arrogant on the stand. They thought your witnesses were arrogant on the stand, and they wanted to see you burn.
Yeah.
Legit. And I was like, well, if I go to the Naval Board of Corrections, will you do a statement for me? He was like, yeah, absolutely. So on top of that, the judge, because the only thing that they don't put into the record is the jury debrief. The judge said if it had been judge alone, he would have acquitted me because he didn't think the government meant to,
Yeah.
right? And which that's dicey
burden
if
of
you do
proof,
judge
yeah.
alone, right? Yeah. And then the warrant officers want to see me burn. Like if it was a civilian jury, it would have been a hung jury, rock and roll. But, you know, the archaic UCMJ,
Yeah.
which needs a complete overhaul, by the way, right? Like, yeah. Then after that, so I'm like, all right, cool, back to work I go. And then MHG, so we fell under Marine Headquarters Group. They wanted to ADSEP me for staff NCO misconduct. Well, nobody can, my lawyers are calling me like, hey, you can't do this. Like, that doesn't meet the letter of the law. The law states this. They're like, yeah, we don't care. It's the general's policy. Well, my good friend, Sergeant Major Zekafus, he freaking worked for the CG, and he's like, there's no policy like that. Right, so I'm telling the Sergeant Major of MHG, like, dude, you need to go tell the colonel. You can't do this. He's like, what do you want me to do? I'm like, dude, you're the senior enlisted advisor to the commander. Go advise. Like, write the F now. Right, and he's like, you can go to parade rest. He's like, I'm not. That's the colonel's wants. That's what he
Yeah.
gets.
Well, then you're putting my career in jeopardy now,
Right,
too.
yeah. So, again, my buddy Chad Ramsey, who made sure I was a recon Marine, he was my master guns at SOTG. He wasn't when I started getting investigated because it probably wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have gone as far as it did had he been there, I'm sure. The guy who was there before that was a weak sister. So him and the doctor from MHG, because I was doing all my medical stuff, they went and talked to the colonel, and he's like, hey, look, sir, this is this Marine. This is what he's done. This is what he did during this whole time. This was his career, right? Like, this is all he got. Like, this doesn't meet the letter of intent. The doctor's like, look, this is his medical issues. Lists them off. And she's like, and by the way, like, I'll make sure you're on CNN if you try to freaking accept this dude because he doesn't deserve it, right? And the colonel was like, tell that Marine, I'm sorry. I was derelict in my duties. I was outside and I heard him say like that, just about verbatim. He's like, had I known any of this, I wouldn't have sent him to court martial.
Yeah.
Right. Sure.
Too little, too late.
Right. And yeah, so there's the AOIC, our AOIC at SOTG had gotten fired from 2 Force Recon platoons when he was a captain, and he ruined like 5 dudes' careers while he was there. So between him and the ADG at MHG, that's how all that came to fruition. Yeah. So I'll have a talk with that guy someday too, you know. But so they sent the colonel's like, send him to the Wounded Warrior Battalion and let him retire. So I made it to about 17 in a little bit and took the medical retirement. And it's like, dude, you get thrown into a pile of poo, and that's about as coming out as good as a ruby as you can. You know what I mean? So that's how I retired. So when your stuff was happening, my prayers were for you, and I was rooting for you, freaking big man. Time, man. Yeah, well, because
anybody that knows, goes through the system, knows exactly like, this dude is getting F'd 20 ways from Sunday.
Same with a Marsoc tree, like freaking Eric.
Danny and all them.
Yeah, Eric was at 2-6 with me, Gilman, when he was a young corpsman. And I called him up and was like, look, dude, this system is meant to crush you.
The system is the punishment.
Yeah, it's meant to F you.
The process is the punishment, which is what they'll be like, hey, just trust the process and let it play out. And it's like, that's the whole punishment is letting it play out.
Yeah.
It's like you are screwed.
Oh, yeah.
So people don't understand. It's,
like,
if you're not fighting back from the get-go, bend over.
Yep. There's so, you know, the thing that there's so much illegal things that happen that guys just don't know about, right? Like, if anyone says, yeah, you're going to go to Captain's Master and NJP, like, I'm like, hey, go get legal advice.
Yes.
Don't do it, because 90%, there's no commander that's a lawyer or a judge, you know. They don't know. They don't even know the UCMJ. Some first sergeant or some chief, master chief, they don't know they don't know the law. You know, so many dudes' careers got ruined because of illegal stuff, and that's what I learned through that process. Like, if I'd had advanced course, I would have still gotten promoted to first sergeant, because the prosecutor did me a solid. The prosecutor was a very good friend of my lawyer. I still see my lawyer from time to time nowadays. He just retired. He's doing real estate law now. He's like, I want to see people on a happy day, you know, not a sad day like you, right? Happiest day of their life. I'm done with all the rest of the stuff. But he didn't put any of my stuff on the blotter, didn't do any of that. I only got a 1-day adverse fit rep out of it that was never signed, so it never showed up.
Yeah.
So had I done advanced course, I had so much fodder in my OMPF. A buddy of mine that was on the board was like, dude, you probably would have still gotten promoted, man, like, for real. And if I would have picked up first sergeant, I would have been the scourge of first sergeant. It's like, oh, he's going to get NJP'd. Nope, he's not. Illegal. Not happening. But anyway,
That's why they want you out.
Yeah, that's why I'm sitting over here. That's why we're sitting here now.
You can't have that. Yeah.
Exactly.
What year did you retire?
2017.
Okay. So right during your stuff?
That was when I had just come back from deployment, and mine was, all my stuff was 2017 to 2019 until I got out.
Yeah.
So when you got out, did you go back to New York?
No. So before I got out, I was when I was at Wounded Warrior Battalion, I was doing an internship as a hunting guide. So like,
cool.
Growing up on a farm and stuff, like, one, my mom didn't like guns, so I didn't get like my first gun till like I was 16. I had BB guns, bow and arrows, and if I hunted, I had to go with my uncle because my dad's not a hunter. But when I was laid up from that accident, I was sitting on the recliner feeling sorry for myself, like eating too many pain meds, drinking too much, and I was like, I got to do something to get out of this. So I ordered a bow off eBay, started hobbling around the woods with a back brace and a cane, and found healing in the woods. So ever since then, I've been a very avid hunter. And when I was at Wounded Warrior Battalion, I did an internship with a buddy of mine who's a guide up in Four Oaks, like outside of Raleigh. So I was probably the better part of my the good thing that came out was that my last year of the Marine Corps, I was doing a stinking. I was a hunting guide. I showed up to base once a week for my medical appointments, and I went and guided hunts the rest of the time. So that was good. So when I retired, I worked for him for a while, managed his company. I left there, started my own guide service, turned that into a turnkey operation, sold it to my business partner, and then I started Hunting Carolinas, which is my civilian. It's kind of a guide service, but I don't do very many hunts anymore. I kind of just do hunts for VIP clients that have followed me over the years. And I do content for some companies and stuff in my hunting journey. Nice. And then my buddy Tony Cowden and Drew Samplowski about 3.5 years ago, were like, hey, because when I first retired, we talked about starting the Reason Outdoors, and then we started it. And back then, I'm glad I didn't, honestly, but back then, like, we had a lawyer. The hurricane or earthquake in Haiti happened, and he had his own nonprofit, so he disappeared, and then we kind of shelved it. Mm-hmm. And like 3.5 years ago, Tony was like, hey, let's mentor some guys in the backcountry. I'm like, yeah, let's do that. So we found some guys, and like when we found the guys, he's like, what do you think? I'm like, let's do the nonprofit.
Specifically for vets?
Veterans, first responders, and their kids.
Okay.
So like we've had many discussions. So like our founders, like, I'm a Marine. Tony's our SF guy. Drew is still active duty Coast Guard. Does their special minute. He's like an 05. He's working up in DC now, poor sucker. But he's like one of their special missions unit guys. And then other two board members are Marines as well. But we're like, hey, who do we want to take, right? And there's a lot of organizations that are only soft guys, only combat wounded or combat. And we're like, hey, look, anybody who signed the dotted line,
deserves to.
At some point in time, whether you're a box kicker in supply, right, or a Navy SEAL or freaking dev group dude, like that blank check could have been cashed in, So we're gonna take anybody, and let's add first responders too, because they're cut from the same cloth as we are, And what we do when I have guys that, whether they haven't been to combat or they're like a POG, support guy or something, I'll take a couple of those guys, I'll mix them guys in with guys who've been there and done that, right? And then take them out hunting or fishing.
That's awesome.
We call it
How many
ecotherapy.
days?
We have done anything. Our first hunt was a backcountry Idaho hunt in Unit 39, which is like the second hardest hunt you can do in the lower 48. That hunt was a couple weeks long. And we've done anything from like one night predator and hog hunts to iguana hunts in Florida with air rifles down in West Palm, which is awesome. About the most fun I can have with pants on, by the way. Duck hunts. I mean, if it swims, flies, walks, it dies.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We do a lot of predator hunting and predator competitions because everyone loves to skulk around at night with thermals and night vision. And it's maximum camaraderie, minimum stress. Because like 3 of us go out to a field, we set up. I get the call on. If a coyote comes in, we do a countdown, we shoot it. Right, somebody misses, we get to break balls.
Yeah, trash.
We don't see it. Yeah, we don't see anything. We freaking load up, go to another field, do it again. And we took Tyler Vargas out. He comes to the Onslow Predator Challenge with us every year. He got his first coyote like 3 years ago, and his Segway off-road Segway he has flipped over in a pile of cow shit. Like my buddy Sean was the lead for that team, and he's like stressing out, right? Like Tyler's laying there, he's like, oh my gosh, and he ended up shooting his first coyote in between 2 cows. Had his rifle on his right foot, left hand shot his coyote basically like almost supine prone type thing. Yeah. So I'm like, hey, how was it? He's like, dude, I'm hooked. This is awesome. So he's like, what thermal should I buy? What gun should I shoot? And so we do a little bit of everything. It just depends on what.
It's almost like a VIP. Like you sculpt each hunt.
Yeah. In a way, like I've had landowners that call me up and they're like, hey, come, can you bring 3 guys? I've got a nuisance permit and I need to kill all these deer because they're eating all my soybeans. So I sent some guys down to do that last year. Some of them are more planned out.
Yeah.
I got a guy the other day who's like, hey, can you send me 2 guys to come hunt with the owner of Shaw Barrels for this turkey hunt? And by the way, the Shaw team has never killed a turkey on this hunt in the last couple of years. I'm like, yeah, I got just the guys from you who are like turkey fanatics, right? And, veterans. So that was like kind of last minute, but they're going to get to go do that. Our backcountry hunts are more planned out and sculpted and,
they have to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then, and some guys can do a backcountry hunt. Some guys can do, like amputees. Actually, we have a ranch, hopefully, that we're going to be able to get amputees on this year in Wyoming. So that'll be cool. But, it just depends.
How do you guys fundraise?
Individual donors.
Okay.
Mostly we do a lot of giveaways. We've done a couple fundraisers. Last Friday night actually was the Battle of the Badges in Raleigh Fire Department versus Raleigh PD. And we got half the proceeds of that. So I think that was about $7,000 that they raised.
Nice.
A sled hockey charity gets the other $7,000. So that was huge for us visibility wise, because it's fundraising is a continuing action.
Yes, and it's one of the hardest things to do. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. My buddy Chan, who works for Kuperus and Rossi, I took him bear hunting this year, and I was talking to him. He's like, dude, when I first met you, you sound like you got this whole thing funded, right? Everything's good. He's like, dude, you guys don't got squat. I'm like, I know, man. He's like, well, you guys are terrible at groveling. I'm like, dude, we're door kickers, man.
Yeah.
Like, not good at groveling.
Yeah.
Right. So
we work with what we have.
Yeah. It's a working, the groveling is the hustling is a work in progress, but we've had a lot of good sponsors. I mean, we brought the first all veteran team to the Rocky Mountain Air Gun Challenge last year, and Air Force Air Guns and Rapid Air Works. They've donated like probably $30,000 worth of air rifles to us in the last couple of years. Nice. And like for everybody listening who are going to talk junk about air guns, right? They're amazing training tools. And if you win the Rocky Mountain Air Gun Challenge for PRS, you get $25,000. That's first place. Bench rest, $25,000. Big bore, it's like 10 or 12 grand, and speed's like another 13 grand. So there's a lot of money in that competition.
Yeah.
And all your, PRS and bench, like all your marksmanship skills come into play.
Yeah,
like
it all applies.
But now you're just hitting a target that's that big at 50 yards and a 1.5 mile hold in Utah high desert wind, So the first time I went out there, I got humbled. Hard. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I'm a recon marine. I can do anything. I'm not a PRS shooter either. So I was like, yeah, maybe I'll do middle of the pack. No.
Bottom of the barrel.
Low middle of the pack.
I'm sure, yeah.
Low middle of the pack. So, but so we got some, we're getting there. It's a work in progress, labor of love.
You got a good website. People just saw the podcast and wanted to donate.
Yeah. Yep.
Best place to do that? Go to the website.
www.thereasonoutdoors.org.
Awesome.
Or you can check us out on Instagram at @the_reason_outdoors_.
We'll put those links below so people can find them when the podcast comes out for sure.
But we're growing, and nobody takes salary from the organization. It's all volunteer. Sweet. We're going to start working on. We're finally at a place where we can work on grants.
Yeah. So
looking for grant writers and getting the grants moving, because that'll be big. And one day like when I'm out at SHOT, I'm out there groveling. SHOT went way better this year because we run a 2-man sniper fundraiser match out in Montana in White Sulphur Springs. So had a mission like, hey, what can you send to our prize table? And that worked out a lot better this year.
Wet shot.
Yeah, whereas the previous years, like, hey, this is who we are, this is what we do, right? Give me money, right? Give me gear, right? And they're like, yeah, we don't give money to anybody, right? Very tight with that, a lot of companies, but they're more than willing to donate to a prize table for a match, which is fantastic. And I'm like, hey, look, if you give me 3 scopes, can I put 2 on the prize table and use 1 for a giveaway? And they're like, yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
So it was good. And it's a visibility thing.
And that's what it is. And that's, you said, and that's the grind is like, keep going there and making yourself visible. And eventually that will grow, and more people will know about the Reason Outdoors. Absolutely. And then people are more willing to then either give you money, grants, all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, we run into the same issues with our foundation.
Yeah.
It's like one of those, our foundation's it's not like a sexy, like these other ones that get all this money and funding because they're like, oh, the psychedelics or this, or we're doing all this. That's like the trendy thing.
Right.
And so when you go and try and like, hey, this is what we're doing, it's a piece of the pie that's not being filled. A lot of people are like, what? And so you really just, I mean, I found over the years that you just have to keep pounding the pavement. And
Absolutely.
like, this is why it's important.
Yeah.
This is why you should donate.
Yeah. I mean, we've had 5 guys tell us that if it wasn't for that hunt, they would have put a pistol in their mouth and pulled the trigger months
the reason
before.
you're doing it.
And like literally the first hunt we did, like we had a hellacious climb up to like, I don't even know how high it was, but it was like a 3,000 foot climb probably, and it was just terrible. Couple arguments on the climb up. And I was sitting there glassing with this dude, and he was like, hey man, if it wasn't for this hunt, he's like, the day that you guys advertised this on Instagram, I was sitting on my couch with my pistol. And right when I was getting ready to do it, he's like, the door started to open, and it was my girl. I shoved my pistol under the couch, and it was my girlfriend. And I opened up Instagram, and the first thing I saw was this hunt.
Yeah.
And he's like, and this gave me something to train for, something to live for. And he's still part of our organization this day. Like, we keep guys involved in the organization. And like that's the
reason. That's the why.
That's the reason.
That's a God deal.
And at the end of the day, it's like, dude, it's just one person, worth it.
Right. How many guys? I mean, we've taken over 300 people in the last 3 years, and like our budget hasn't. I mean, our bank account hasn't been north of 15 grand, probably. I wouldn't say. And like how many other guys or gals have felt that way and just not said anything. And if people don't know how to hunt, we teach them. It expands their network, the camaraderie, the outdoors.
Gives them a community.
Yep, gives them the community. And especially like inevitably, like if you and I go and hunt with 2 guys who didn't do what we did, right? We're all going to end up being friends at the end of it.
Yeah.
Right? They're going to learn something. We're probably going to learn something from them too.
Always.
And that's the other thing that I think people like don't realize, right? They get out and they move back to their hometown or whatever, right? And they're like, oh man, like none of my boys are here. But, and I hate to say this, but like you can just go down the local VFW, even though guys from our generation don't really go there. But like there's somebody in your hometown that served, even if they didn't do your job.
You still have like, there's a bond there.
Right.
It's like,
right.
You can,
they're there.
You can form a relationship off of.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And that's the, expanding that network and bringing that, those guys together like that. That's like, I love to see it. You can see guys transform after a weekend of being in the outdoors. It's super awesome.
Yeah. There's no better medicine than being out in the outdoors, detached from everything and just focused on hunting and being around good individuals.
Yeah.
Like that right there, you spend like 3 or 4 days, you can come back and it's like you have a clear head. You actually have your wits about you again. You're like, okay. And it gives you like a newfound sense of purpose.
Yeah.
Even, it might not be something that I'm going to take hunting up, but at least it's like I learned a new skill set.
Yeah.
I know I can do this. And then it builds confidence for you to go forward and do other things.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's all guys need is that little bit of just like, hey,
Change
get
your
off the
trajectory.
couch, drop, put the bottle down, let's
100%.
go do something fun.
Yep.
And then maybe reflect on what you're actually doing.
Change that, maybe it completely changes their trajectory immediately. Maybe that was the guy who in a year was going to, make the wrong decision, and now he's not. I mean, it's, and hopefully they go home with some meat too.
So that's the bonus.
That's always the bonus. So, and then if they don't know how to cook it, we do a little field to table, show them how to do it. And and
it's needed, man. And, I get, because there's so many organizations out here that do this kind of stuff, right? And there's guys like, oh yeah, like taking somebody hunting is not going to solve their problems and like this, and I'm like, dude, it might not solve all their problems, but it will give them they leg up in the right direction, right? It gets them out of their comfort zone where they're sitting doing nothing, and then gets them a new perspective, even if it's only 3 days. I'm like, it's something. It's better than not doing anything at all.
Yep.
Right. And I think there's just all these organizations that are funded. I'm like, they're all great. You know, and they're all doing the right thing. And so I'm glad you guys are formed up, and plus it gives you a sense of purpose as well, right?
Absolutely.
Which is amazing.
Yeah, it changed. Like for me, you know, like I was on that precipice, you know, that dark place when I was sitting there. Everyone's deployed. I'm sitting on the freaking recliner, you know, feeling sorry for myself, like, you know, and that's where I found healing in the outdoors. That's what I try to
And
bring
it's
to
somebody
everybody.
you have the experience too.
Yeah,
So
and it's for me. It's had we started this right when I retired, it probably would have failed because I was still too much, you know, force recon, gunny, you know, like way more abrupt.
Detach a little bit more.
Yeah, but after guiding thousands of clients over the years, right, I'd learned the art of how to talk to other people better. Civilians, you know, and just and I still love guiding civilians too, but like guiding veterans and, you know, first spawners, like you know, and especially when they've never hunted before. Like I took Chris Stroop from Stroop Knives, him and his kids hunting this year, and like now they're like addicted to hunting. And like his son's texting me questions all the time. I'm like, yeah, here, man, this is what you got to do. He's like, awesome. Oh, cool. Yeah. So it's just super gratifying.
Good, man. That's good awesome. On you, brother. Dude, it was amazing. Dude, I'm glad you came down here and we're able to talk about the Reason Outdoors, but also just your background and everything, because I mean, that's important. And I appreciate, dude, everything you've done for this country, you know, your service and just the amount of grit and everything that took to actually do that service, and then what you're doing now. I think it's amazing, dude. We give every guest on here gets to leave here with a little something. This is Firecracker Farms. So this is a guy, Alex, who is a good friend of mine. He started this company. It's a hot salt. So I know if you like hunting, you got to like eating, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this is like, it's a salt, like it's a bunch of different peppers blended together with pink Himalayan salt.
Yeah.
And people put it on everything. Do you like heat?
Yeah.
Like spice?
I mean, it depends on how. I mean, my skin's pretty, you know, pasty, but I can deal with heat.
Okay. Well, this one's Apocalypto's pretty hot, but we got some other ones too. We can take it down a notch as well.
Cool.
But yeah, this stuff's amazing, man.
Awesome. Thank you.
Definitely go try it out, and then, you know, bring it out with you. That's the cool thing. It's like just a little pusher. You can pack it in your stuff and bring it out on hunting trips.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, brother.
I also don't, as I said, I don't like to go places empty-handed. So, got y'all flag.
Check that out.
From we had to cut our way out of Hurricane Helene when I was working for Marsoc a couple of years ago. So that's a piece of cedar from.
Dude, that's awesome.
That's dope. Thank you so
No
much.
problem. And then
we're gonna put this up.
got this for you,
No way.
Eddie. Dave.
Heck yeah.
Woo.
Got this one, non-metallic, everything. So if you need to go, you know, metal detectors. Yes, that one's from Stroop Knives, and that one's from my buddy T-Dubs,
cool.
TW Brands Gear.
Dude, this is amazing, man. This is a good piece of steel right here.
Oh, yeah, 1095.
This is Chris?
Yep.
Stroop, yeah. Shout out to him, man. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you so much, man.
Yeah, man.
Dude, I appreciate that, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate you having me on. Let me run my soup cooler for a while. I appreciate you guys. And
great having you on, man.
Yeah.
And then, we'll for sure, we'll let you know when this episode drops, and then we're going to put all the links and everything and places to donate as well.
Cool.
So that's the key.
Yeah.
These listeners, get in there, donate. If you guys, everyone says, you know, they care about veterans. Thank you for your service and all that, and we're, you know, grateful for that. But if you do, definitely donate to some of these organizations that are doing the good work to get veterans back on their feet.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. All right, buddy.
All right, man.
All right,
Thanks,
out.
This episode is brought to you by Elevated Silence. As you guys know, here at Shoot Me Straight, we are huge advocates of the Second Amendment and exercising those rights. And there's no better way to exercise those rights than going to the range with the best suppressor that you can buy, which is why Elevated Silence is the sponsor for this podcast. I've been using their product now for years. This is my favorite can here that I use on my Noveske rifle, and I have had no issues with it. And I get comments every time I go to the range or put on a course just how quiet this suppressor is. Another reason why I love Elevated Silence is they're constantly innovating their product, trying to make it better. They have these new 30 cal cans, which can handle any caliber up to 300 Norma. and they are now working on cans for EDC carry. And what I love most about this company is not only the man that stands behind the company, Jim Hood, who is a true patriot, but the fact that he is always trying to elevate your experience at the range, because nobody likes going to the range unsuppressed. So check out Elevated Silence and go to the range and shoot like a gentleman.